let's hold on. It's coming. We'll start over here, and hopefully I'll be able to enter another thing. And hi, hey, welcome everybody. Glad you could be here on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. It is indeed a Tuesday afternoon where I am. Where you are, it could be anything because we are indeed Megaworldwide. Welcome to Housebark's Megaworldwide. I'm Megaworldwide. So we remember. Let's see. Remember, like, was it 4 months ago where, best laid plans of mice and men, Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly were going to go on a tour together. And there was all this talk about how many tickets they were going to sell, and they were going to do these stadiums, and the whole thing was just going to be people, watching Bill O'Reilly interview Trump with allegedly the same 10 questions. I don't know at what point it was going to be different. Really. But I mean, I guess that would be up to them. They would have to go. Next week's surprise question. Is it fiberglass and is it stapled on? Those kind of things. Has anyone ever consented to have sex with you that didn't think there was a payday waiting for them down the line? Those kind of questions. The tough ones, of course. Well, maybe there's an ad for it somewhere. Hold on. Oh, that's lovely. Thanks for hosting me. And thanks for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, all the things I'm supposed to say to engage people on Twitch and YouTube and the like, so that people will do the thing that we hope they will do to grow the channel and turn it into something enormous that takes time to organically unfold. And I'm glad that it's unfolding the way it is. I'm just saying. It's a little slower than I would hoped, but not pressuring you at all. I'm just saying I'm here every day. You're here every day. Hitting the subscribe button. I mean, it's not a lot of work. Don't hit the notification bell. You know when I'm on. I'm not one of these people who post their video at 3 o'clock in the morning just for random, because I was late. I'm on a schedule. You don't have to hit the bell and get some sort of weird, your phone blow up every time I pop online. That's not necessary. We're grown-ups here. But and I know this is untoward right out of, there we go, BillO'Reilly.com. Let's see, presents the real Joe Biden. No, that's not. Let's see. Live, the latest column. Well, here, this is, there it is. Buy Trump tour tickets. Found it. Oh, boy. Here they are. Remember, it was going to be all this fall. It was going to start in October. A little late for that. And it was going to go through the whole... Oh, shit. You have to see this picture. Hold on. This is from Bill O'Reilly's site. I gotta say, it's Bill, kind of a dick move to touch up your photo and not touch up his. As a ticket partner thing, that's just a dick move. I mean, no one has a forehead this smooth without some major sandblasting. I mean, you would have to go... I don't know how many people have that much sand. That's an entire beach would have to been destroyed simply so you could sandblast the wrinkles out of that forehead. All the way up to there, though, too. That's commitment. That's, you know what I mean? Most people, yes, to get massive dermabrasion, most people are only gonna, pay for the front area right here. Get that Tucker crease out of your forehead, right? Not Bill. Oh no. Yes, you got this whole area done, and this area, and up into this area, and it's all just smooth. And I almost made myself barf a little bit. I almost did. And then over here, Trump looking like he washed up on shore. Heavy, like these are some Key West wrinkles happening over here. It could be Facetune. Whatever gave you that idea? Are you telling me that Bill O'Reilly, when we see him in the video, isn't going to look this smooth? Are you alleging this? People in chat room with too much sense to buy this? Yes. Look, I mean, honestly, it's like a beige egg with hair on it. Meanwhile, look at this. Just crow's feet, bags, squinting. The light is far too bright. This is a very grisly looking chin happening here. There's something in the chin area that's getting like gin blossom crusty up in this biz. But and then of course they're selling all of his books. And is he on the radio or listening to I guess he's on the radio someplace. But you don't want to miss these dates. Let's see. Florida, Texas. All right. Well, at least he's going into the hinterlands so he can be confronted by people who aren't already on the team. In the at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. And then another one on Saturday. And these are both, like this is driving distance. And then Houston, Texas, 3 o'clock. Really? Is there a cheaper? I'm genuinely confused. I thought these were going to be, prime time events. How much are tickets? Let's see. They got to be. I mean, you got to be able to pick your ticket, right? It wouldn't be a Trump event unless you could pick your seat. $100 a piece. Let's see. There's the stage. These aren't for sale. The ones over here are not available. This has got to be the sold out section. These people are. This is the income inequality of Trump fans. This is bought out by the well-to-do Karens and their mates, and then these are the shit seats for the people who go to every MAGA thing but have to pay for it. $100 a piece. Look at all these seats. $100. All is what's this area? How much is this? Oh, look at that. There's a loaner. If you want to go by yourself, look at that. That single seat, $300 for section 12011 row 6. Look, this guy, this loaner over here. There's a guy. 300. Are you guessing the Heritage Foundation's buying out a bunch of these things and giving them as gifts? Yeah. So they're jamming these. Okay, that was Amway Center, I think, right? Look at that one. Oh, this is a different one. Okay. So this is more available. Obviously the presidential suites are, those are spoken for. The founder suites, also not for sale. They don't want to dirty up those seats. Those are, you're only limited to this. These are, so basically, how do you get this seat? Do you have to wear a Blacks for Trump shirt? Is that how it works? Let's see. Come on. There's 8 tickets left here, and they're $2,255. A verified resale ticket. Verified resale. 2 over here. 2 over here. I mean, this is like Tony Robbins weekend prices. I mean, there's no way he's not going to show up, even if it's half empty, because these seats are all like $2,000. And then this whole section's a little farted out, whatever. Let's see. Lowest price. Let's see. Give me the best seats. What's the best seats available? Come on. $2,000, $2,026.85, $1,124, $613, $613. I mean, honestly, do you even MAGA, bro? Yeah. So this section, these guys, yeah, they're paying for it to sit there for this once in a lifetime chance to see him do it again. Anyways, so I don't know if this is Bill O'Reilly just attempting to karate chop Trump at the beginning of this interview. It's a 20-minute interview. It's not very good. It's not very long. So I'm curious what will happen. Then, of course, I have apparently Bongino's radio career is in danger. But also, I found a documentary that The Blaze is doing with Glenn Beck. And if we have time after all this, we'll get to some of it, if not all of it, about just the coming sort of woke North Korea-ing of America. And there's no way to avoid it. We'll never get out of the trap. But until then, please join us for a nice 2112. Oh, that's nice. We are the priests of the temple. It's 2112. Of sphearings of the gift of life. I had within our walls. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to have Rush going through my head the entire time. Wish me luck. Just going to have Rush songs. Just kind of, that's the theme today, just because this interview is exactly 2112. Yes. Rip Neil Peart. Okay, here we go.
Doing you such a huge favor by being in so much trouble, and the country's collapsing.
By the way, is this where this thing starts? They just like roll it. They're already talking. Or maybe this is the lead in, and they do a graphic and then come back.
I must really love you. He's doing you.
Oh, he's saying Biden must really love you.
Such a huge favor by.
Yeah, I don't. Something. I don't. Maybe it's just me. Hold on one second. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It just stands out.
Being in so much trouble, and the country's collapsing.
Is the country collapsing, guys? Is the country collapsing? By the way, where you are, I know it's collapsing where I am. Have you seen the sky lately?
Then the polls show that people are almost having voter regret. Did you ever hear that phrase? Voter regret.
Well, I think they might have regret, but I think they voted for me at a level that nobody's ever received before as a sitting president. 75 million votes and 12 million more than we got last time. So I'm not sure they have regret. I think we got.
No, they have regret.
Shit, he's not talking about you, stupid. We're already at the point where Bill O'Reilly is trying to keep Grandpa from wandering into traffic. Keep in mind, both of these men have been saying for months now that that Biden doesn't know which way is up, and that he can't form a sentence, and that his brain is going, and he has dementia, but he's also a master criminal.
12 million more than we got last time.
Sorry, I'll try and, I don't know why there's I'll try and raise the volume on this a little bit as best I can. And there's a little bit of slapback, but that's there.
So I'm not sure they have regret.
All right, simmer down. You and your slapback all of a sudden. Okay, here we go.
I think we got.
No, they regret voting for Biden.
No, I understand what you're saying, Bill, but I'm just saying we got a tremendous vote, and the.
No, he doesn't understand what you're saying, Bill. You have to understand. You're not interviewing a human being. You're interviewing a record. Everything you say is a needle drop, and there's one track on side B.
Administration of Joe Biden has been a disaster.
You don't think he's doing it on purpose to help you out?
Oh, sure. I'm sure he's doing it on purpose. No,
Okay.
I think they can't help themselves.
So let's look ahead. That's what everybody wants to know
Yeah. Look ahead to fixing 2020.
now. If you decide to run for president again, you'll be in Grover Cleveland territory. You know that.
I do.
The only
I do not know what you mean by Grover Cleveland.
president who is elected to non-consecutive terms.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you meant he was...
So a lot of people are asking me, and I got tons of mail on this.
Unbelievable. As much as you got on the Photoshop question of your pick? No? All right.
Will President Trump change his style a bit if he runs again to be
Yeah, this time he'll become presidential.
less confrontational to try to win over independent voters? Will you do that?
Well, let me just tell you before I give you that answer.
Let me answer before I answer with another answer that I answer.
I had no choice but to be aggressive and confrontational because I was hit with many phony deals from Russia, impeachment, hoax number one, impeachment hoax number two, so many, Ukraine. We were hit with so many different things. The Mueller investigation, which turned out to be no collusion, that you had to be confrontational and you had to move fast. And on top of that, I ran a country.
Yeah, that's. I mean, look, if people are looking into your financial ties with Russia, you have to call Rosie O'Donnell a pig. You have to. I mean, what else are you going to do? If if people are trying to judge your perfect phone call, you have to stop transgender people from serving in the military. You have to push back on it somehow, right? You can't just lay down.
And we rebuilt the military, and we did the biggest tax cuts and regulation cuts and all of the things we did. So I'd like to have a little bit more peaceful presidency from the standpoint that the radical left went after me like they've never gone after a president.
But you know that when you were in the primary up against your Republicans who wanted to be president, it was Lion Ted, it was Sweaty Marco, it was...
Was it Sweaty Marco? Was it Sweaty Marco? Can we bring back Sweaty Marco? Is that a dude that Trump used to hang out with in New York when he was a kid on the corner pretending to be Marlon Brando? Sweaty Marco. It was Little Marco, right? Wasn't it?
Boring Jeb. I mean, you really...
What? Sorry, Aquamarine Jeb. What was it?
It was Sweaty Marco. It was Boring Jeb.
Was it Boring Jeb? What?
You really went in.
Yeah, it was wasn't it Thirsty Marco?
And battered these guys. Would you do it again if you're primaried? Would you do it that way?
I think it depends on who I'm running against. I mean, I have no idea who it would be.
What was Paul Ryan?
Well, that would be.
You're going to go after him. You're going to.
No, if it was Paul Ryan, I'd attack him very hard. I think he's terrible.
Have you thought?
I think he's a terrible person for the Republican Party and for the country. But no, it depends on who I'd be running against.
So, have you thought about you're the 40th?
Yeah, some of them he would be kind to.
President with a pretty good record
of civilian deaths during your time in office. By the way, would you run on the idea that China attacked us on purpose with the virus and that you were president during that attack? And then, no, never mind.
Office.
I think a very good record.
Okay, but even you...
Bill, if I can't get softballs from you...
Detractors, the people who despise you.
Yeah.
All right? They...
Yeah.
Can't criticize a record-breaking economy, can they?
Well, I mean, the record-breaking job losses, death rate of the last year. I mean, the fact that you got rid of the pandemic response team and literally pantsed our response against something like that on purpose for no particular reason 2 years before it happened. It's almost like you planned it.
We've ever had.
Okay. So does it occur to you that maybe I run on my record rather than I run on Donald Trump settling scores?
Well, I think I wouldn't be doing anything to settle scores. I just want to have our country back. Our country is lost right now. We suffered, in my opinion, the greatest embarrassment in the history of our country. Oh,
you mean the hundreds of thousands dead and the limiting of PPE to states because the president who was serving at the time had personal vendettas against the governors of those states, so he would, toy with a situation where the citizenry could die. I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. Are you talking about like even having a president that says stuff like
action replays in magnified fortune?
I understand. Okay, so so embarrassment. Tell us what is it? Getting out of Afghanistan? I see. It was getting out of Afghanistan. It was embarrassing. We should have stayed in Afghanistan. I mean, the Chinese and the Russians are upset that we're not there covering for them. And the Taliban is now looking to steam across the border into China and help the Uyghurs out. And that's trouble for China. And of course, the Russians are now having to do military drills with the Uzbekistanis to keep the Afghan terrorists and ISIS out of their country because of their treatment of the Chechen rebels and their situation there. But I understand what you mean, that we should be there just to sit there.
Withdrawal was shocking. It was a surrender. It wasn't even a withdrawal. That was a total surrender.
How did we surrender? Yeah, never mind.
Without a bullet being fired, and you look at 13 dead warriors, and by the way, many wounded. Nobody, and I'm talking about seriously wounded, legs and arms.
I see. Yeah, a serious wound involves one of your appendages. Clearly, brain injuries, not so much.
And you look at $85 billion worth of equipment left behind. There's no reason. Why would you leave it behind?
All right, let's get into that.
Yeah, let's go with first, there isn't $85 billion worth of gear in the country. That $85 billion was half training and half paying like contractors, for example, to do a lot of that training, and gear given to the Afghan military that they were presumably going to use after we left. So there's no reason to take it with us because it was basically gifted to them so they could stand up as an army. We never intended to take it with us because it was theirs. Let's get it. I'm sure he'll cover that. I'm sure he'll cover that.
So Biden blamed you and said you made a bad deal with the Taliban and that he inherited it and there's nothing he could do. I don't think many people buy that.
Nobody believes it. Look, I made a great deal to get out. So we didn't have a soldier killed, Bill, in 18 months. Not a
Yeah, because that was the deal. But if you stayed longer than that, they were going to go back to killing people.
Soldier killed in 18 months.
Right. And
they respected us.
You told the Taliban, look, you don't mess with us.
Right.
And we'll leave. That was the deal. That is the entirety of the deal. They got Bardar out of a Pakistani prison to be their conduit to the Taliban. And the deal they made was, we're leaving. Don't shoot any of our guys until we're out. We're going to leave by this date. And you guys don't shoot and we'll leave on this date. That was it. That was the actual deal. He bragged about that deal. There's no way Bill doesn't know that's the deal. So let's see what it was. Let's see.
Try to get a coalition government. But you didn't have the Kabul government in on those talks. It was you and the Taliban.
That's right.
By not having Kabul government in on the talks, did you...
This isn't going well. In my head, I just know that Bill has turned on me. How did I end up in this wooden room? Is this the funny farm? Is it real wood or is it padded? Have I lost my mind? Maybe I should just go hump that flag. Bill, how could you do this to me?
Escalate them.
There was no government. I was never a believer in Ghani. I thought he was a crook, and I said it 5 years ago. Before I was even in politics, I said it. I made the statement a long time ago.
Here it comes. That there was no reason to make a deal with him. It was not going to stand up on its own. But the minute we leave, it's all going to fall apart. Here we go.
He will be out the door as soon as we leave. And eventually.
Right. Which is why Trump never left. That's why Trump never got us out of Afghanistan. Because he knew it was going to fall apart. A lot of the military leaders were saying it was going to fall apart without us there. The rest of the world was obviously, the British and the Australians were both aware that this was going to fall apart as soon as the U.S. left. That's why they started getting their folks out of there when we had our date set for real. Once Biden got in, they're like, oh, they're actually going to leave. They started to fuck off. Yeah, right.
You had no confidence in the Kabul government.
I had no confidence in him, and I had no confidence in the government.
So why were we continuing to give them military aid and shore it up? And why were you saying we would stay longer?
No confidence in the army, who we were paying their military people among the highest salaries in the world.
Right.
That's why they did it.
Right.
They didn't do it because they wanted something to do great for their nation. They did it because we were paying them $6 billion.
Yeah, they were mercenaries. Now, if you had been reelected, would the Taliban have taken that country over?
The Taliban would probably, I'll tell you what.
Oh, okay, this is good. Yeah. So now figure out how you would tell us that we would have left and the Ghani government, which you just shit all over, and the entire army was mercenaries who have absolutely no ability to stand up on their own, nor would they. Now tell us how, if you we would have actually gotten out, except for being, keeping the base, Bagram. This is so solid. This is sweet. Please pin him down, Bill, on this. Why are my hopes pinned on Bill Polished Egged O'Reilly?
And have taken that country over.
The Taliban would probably, I'll tell you what I would have done. It would have been.
I had a magic plan. Here it is.
Very interesting. I had a great plan.
Yeah, it's a magic plan. It's a magic plan. Yeah. Whoa. It's a magic plan. Sorry.
We would have had some control. You don't want full control.
No, you don't. That's the worst thing you need in a war zone where your soldiers are walking around. You don't want full control. You want some control and mixed control between you and, I don't know, who I'd think of, the only people you met with last year.
Had some control, we would have kept Bagram. For China, much more so than for Afghanistan, because, it's right next to China.
Right.
No, it's not right next to China, but you could build a little base in that little region that attaches Afghanistan to China, between Pakistan and Uzbekistan, like that little area. But, that would be provocative, and you don't want to piss them off.
Very near their nuclear, where they do their nuclear development. That's not a bad place. And right now, from what I hear, China's going to take over Bagram. It cost us $10 billion to build.
It's a fucking airfield, and they are not. But they're welcome to it.
But years ago, they're going to tell longest runways in the country and the world.
Yeah. Can you imagine how much further their planes could go before they take off?
The 20,000-foot runways. It cost us a fortune. China is right now.
All right, but how would you have prevented the Taliban from taking over?
Yeah, it's a good question, Bill. Look at you. Bill, here's what you have a problem with. Bill O'Reilly is taller than Trump, and Bill O'Reilly thinks he's the smartest person in every room he's in. Trump wants people to think he's the smartest room in every room he's in, but knows full well he is literally the stupidest person present at every gathering, including his own rallies, which are full of Q supporters. And Bill, there's a few other Republicans too, who are sick and tired of people thinking that Trump is the peak brain in that organization.
Well, listen, we had to get out. It was 21 years.
All right,
it was ridiculous.
To prevent them from
I think I would have tried to hold the country in good. I don't think Ghani could have done it. I was totally against him from the beginning, and he left with his cash.
It's you and the Taliban.
And somebody has to look into that. I would say that I would have tried to keep this coalition of people together, but I don't think it would have worked. Somebody would have.
Jesus Christ. He predicts his own failure. There was no plan. There was no plan. Listen to this bullshit. This is great. Shit.
I think Ghani could have done it. I was totally against.
Nobody asked about Ghani, dumbfuck. How could you stop the Taliban from taking over Afghanistan? This is so sweet.
Prevent them from
I think I would have tried to hold the country.
I think I would have tried to hold, and then blame Ghani. I think I would have tried to hold this in good what? In good shape, in excellent, big, beautiful plan.
I think Ghani could have done it. I was totally against him from the beginning, and he left with his cash.
It's you and the Taliban.
And somebody has to look into that. I would say that I would have tried to keep this coalition of people together, but I don't think it would have worked.
Jesus Christ. All right. I mean, honestly. Maggots, Trumpsters, what? This is your hero. This is him. The fucker's been out of office for 9 months now? 10 months, whatever it is. I mean, he gave up on the entire running of the country last year just to save his own ass. So he really hasn't been president since election day. I'll give him the 4th. On the 4th, that's when he was like, fuck this joint. There was no plan. There was never a fucking plan. And his plan was, I think I would have tried to piss off. Yes, that's who he's touring with.
Somebody would have taken over because we had to get out, but they wouldn't have killed our soldiers. They wouldn't have kept our equipment.
It would have been a much smoother exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been way smoother. It would have been a smoother exit. Why? Based on what? A smoother exit on somebody would have taken. I don't think it would have been the Taliban, but Ghani wouldn't have held it. Somebody would have taken him. Like, I don't know, like ISIS-K, for example.
I always said that whole thing will collapse as soon as we leave. We will.
Right, which is why you didn't have the balls to leave. That's why you wussed out and you never left. The entirety of your presidency, you ran on it, and then you kissed the general's ass in 2017. You did fuck all for 4 years, and you didn't leave because everybody you talked to was going, yeah, there's no there there. The minute we leave, that place it's a shitstorm. And if your sons want to keep making money in the opium trade and operate a human trafficking out of Afghanistan, we're going to need to stay in, Mr. President. I'm kidding. I'm just fucking around. Jesus Christ. A smooth jazz exit. Right. We would have put, I've got one of the best TV generals, Kenny G.
Putting it together.
Yes.
So I think I would love to have given it a little bit of a shot. But once we're gone, I always said, and I said this years ago.
I would have wanted to give it a little bit of a shot. Fucko, you were there for 4 years. What little bit of a shot are you talking about? Listen to this horseshit. This is amazing. This is what happens when you ask Trump a question and you ask him the same question again, and then you ask him a question to keep him on the question. I like et tu, O'Reilly. This is going to be part of this. This interview will be the transcript for Bill O'Reilly's new book, Killing Trump. Of course, it'll be, he didn't actually kill him. So it'll be like, little bunny, fuck you, hashtag, air quotes, killing Trump.
It was going to collapse.
Okay.
So whether it's Taliban or not, now.
Yeah, it could have been anybody. It could be Taliban. It could be China and Russia bonding together. They could have taken it over. We could have sold them parts of it. And then I would have had Trump Tower Moscow and Trump Tower Shanghai. Fuck!
Taliban would have been a much weaker force than it is right now. Right now.
Why? Why? Based on what?
They have our equipment. Now they're asking for $10 billion worth of money from the United States.
Worth of money. $10 billion worth of money. How would you like your money? I would like it in money, please. They're asking for food aid, fucko. Oh my God, this is dumb. This is great. Honestly, the dude was in the White House for 4 years and could not know less about this stuff. How would you like it? I would like it in unmarked 20s. The fuck?
And would have been a much weaker force than it is right now. Right now.
Based on nothing. I mean, that's just dumb.
Have our equipment.
By the way, Grumpy Dave, Leper Messiah is indeed my favorite Metallica song. Thanks for bringing it up.
Now they're asking for $10 billion worth of money.
Yeah.
Worth of money. $10 billion worth of money. So U.S. currency, I see. They don't want it in yuan right now. They're concerned about certain other currencies. $10 billion worth of money. Shit. Sorry. God damn it. Bill, ask him again about the Taliban, please.
United States, and they're going to get it.
I don't know.
They're not asking from the United States. They're asking from the UN and everybody.
$1 billion worth of money from the United States, and they're going to get it.
I don't know. Biden's on the skids. Wouldn't you say so?
Well, yeah. Go bring it back around to something that'll make him happy again. He's gonna punch you in the dick for bringing this up. Jesus.
His poll numbers are way down. Nothing's
because he did the thing that you were too afraid to do because it would bring your poll numbers down because everybody told you that getting out of Afghanistan, while it's very popular in theory, in practice it's fucked. And so that's why he never did anything.
Look, and now inflation's at 5.4%. Your administration spent a lot of money. Because you had to rebuild this and you had to do that.
Yeah, you had to. You had to do an unpaid for tax cut for corporations that was temporary for individuals, but permanent for you had to. You had to make sure that it was there, but it was not paid for, and there were no cuts because you can't play Santa by going, Jimmy, I'm here with your new Christmas present, and I'm going to take all your shoes.
Well, just to say.
Yeah. These are not defensive hand gestures at all. Just so you understand. let me try to shape this stupid idea into something that sounds remotely like a sentence. Okay, here we go. Best economy ever, best. We had the best. We had the best.
Rebuild the military.
Okay.
Yeah, I rebuilt the military. Okay.
We had an obsolete.
We know what
military.
you spent it on. How did you keep inflation under control for 4
Well, because when we went into a recession in February of 2020, it was absolutely swamped by the fact that he was hiding the pandemic for a long time to protect China so he could get his trade deal done, that they honored a third of 1/3 of it.
years when he's been in for 9 months and it's up 5.4%?
Well,
what's the
Because nobody went anywhere. And it's because of bottlenecks. It's because of the shutdowns. Because and why, by the way, Bill, maybe after he answers and he blames Biden and the Democrats and socialism and Marxism and the communism, and we're really headed towards that and all that. After he gives you that answer, then ask him why inflation's up in Europe. Here's a good one. Wait, hold on. I got it. This is good. Hold on. Please give me point of order, Mr. Chairman. If I let's see. I make sure I'm in the right keyboard. Sorry. What let's see. This is maybe after he answers. After he asks shit. After he answers why it's Biden's fault and inflation at 5.6%, then ask him why China's inflation is worse. Is a 9% consumer price index, 0.8% in August from a year earlier, and after a 1% rise in July. It's been going up a point, and they just judge it by points. Look at this. Ask him about Chinese inflation. This is a man. Look at his face. This is a man who loves questions on macroeconomics. I didn't realize there would be math.
difference?
Okay, one of the big things I did was become energy independent.
Oh, just dovetail it back to one of your bullshit talking points.
And we had very low energy costs. And if you're going to have high energy costs, everything else follows energy.
Okay, so it was him shutting down the Keystone Pipeline.
I think it was a
Yeah. That's what drove it up. That's what drove American oil producers' costs up, was the removal of a Canadian shale oil pipeline. Did that, here's a follow-up question, Bill. Did the shale oil that would go through that pipeline, which would not be online right now, by the way, still need to be built further. It would not even be part of the economic conversation for over a year. Is that shale oil still, does it exist? Is it on trucks, and is it in tankers, and is it making its way to market in a way that it previously made its way to market? Is that true? Or once we shut that off, they shut down the shale oil mines and the rigs, and that was that, and we're done.
thing, not just Keystone. Keystone's the least of it. That was
Keystone's the least of it. I mean, it's Canadian oil, whatever. Anwar, he stopped. I opened up Anwar. Reagan hasn't done it, and I opened up Anwar, and Anwar wouldn't be there. That we would have had, and this would have that, and yet we didn't have Anwar during his presidency, and we wouldn't again have any of that oil online for years.
something he should have never done. I just had everybody. We were drill. You know the expression, drill we must. And we,
Yeah, that old expression. Yeah, you use that a lot when you're watching Shark Week with Stormy Daniels, right? Drill we must.
getting great energy. We had
That
more
was his
oil and
mistake.
gas.
He put regulations on oil and on
Once
the
that
other
happened-
fossil fuels.
Yeah, Bill, once that happened, when energy, when they were going to,
Look. Hold on. He's Bill, you're interrupting him, and he's got a great explanation. And I'm sure.
legal, look,
All right, listen.
the pump and seeing $5, it was $1.87 a gallon, and now
When no one was going anywhere.
it's going to be over $5. Some places it's already over $5.
Gee, it's almost like the oil companies are trying to make up for lost profits on the backs of consumers.
That goes throughout the whole economy. I think energy was a big factor, a very big.
So American gas prices are responsible for a 9% rise in overall factory goods in China being expensive, and a 0.8% rise monthly, or 1% rise monthly in the Chinese consumer price index every month. Is that? Oh, and by the way, the percentage that goes up includes the percentage from the month before. Do you understand how mathematically fucked that is? Yeah. Okay.
Factor. And I kept it lower. We were making money like hand over fist with energy, bigger than Russia, bigger than Saudi Arabia, energy independent. We were number one in the world. Once that stopped, and now we're going back and we're negotiating with OPEC. It's now $80 a barrel.
Right.
When I was there, and this is less than a year ago.
Less than a year ago, when no one was going anywhere, when they were overproducing oil everywhere, and you had to intervene between Saudi Arabia and the game of chicken between Saudi Arabia and Russia about who could drive prices lower in oil. It was below zero. It was negative $30 a barrel because the whole world seized up because of the disease.
It was $40 a barrel.
It's
it was
crazy.
less than that.
It's crazy. Okay.
It's crazy. It's almost like it was negative 30 a year ago, and now it's fucking 80. It almost sounds like a balancing act in the pricing.
That was a big factor.
Yeah, was it a big factor? Does that make eggs more expensive?
Oh, the southern border has collapsed. All right,
Yes, it collapsed. I blame the shit wall. I mean, you build the wall, you spend a bunch of time building the wall, and then you leave office and it stops working.
The Remain in Mexico policy. The Mexican government had their army on the border, preventing all of the migrants from massing and coming over there.
Well, no, except for the Mexican Ted Bundys that his friend, the president of Mexico, was allegedly releasing into the United States to come and kill and Ted Bundy us.
The army's gone now. They're gone.
Because of the way I dealt with Mexico, they gave us 28,000 soldiers free.
Same shit. Free. Yes. And with 29,000, you get a free yogurt.
No charge.
Right.
But not this week. You have to come back next week.
And they patrolled the border for us, and they did a great job.
So you got Afghanistan.
Yes, they all got COVID and spread it to everyone else. And then everybody was afraid of the border because we had more COVID cases than Mexico did.
Catastrophe. You got high inflation. You got a collapsed border. Biden doing it on purpose?
Yeah, that's what he's doing, Bill. That's a question an intelligent, logical person would do. Yes, he's doing it to destroy America. It's been their plan all along. My next guest, Q, the letter, not the person, will answer those questions for us.
You would almost say, when you look at the border or when you look at the pullout of Afghanistan, you would almost say nobody can be that stupid. Nobody can be doing this thinking it's good.
Oh, you mean like playing down COVID in the first 5 months of 2020, even though you know full well that it would, if it was to run rampant, it would overwhelm our medical system, as it's doing in a lot of red states right now, and kill a lot of people, including your own supporters.
Nobody could pull out the soldiers in Afghanistan before they pull out the American citizens or before they pull out their $85 billion.
Well, they didn't. They hold on. Just in case we need any clarification on this. One moment, please, if I might. So yeah, you're saying that the evacuation was the final day of it was the 31st, but the period, the 2 week before was was the crunch time to get everybody out. And your suggestion is that you would not pull out the military until such time as, holy shit, look at that. Since 5,000 troops to Afghanistan, key northern city. Okay, well maybe that was it. And he took the military out just so he could put them back in. and then 1,000 more troops sent in, so a total of 6,000. That's fun. So you would have done that, is the theory. You would have done what Biden did?
Worth of equipment. I said, he must be doing it on purpose. They must hate the country. They must hate our country.
Think that he's subverting his own?
Yeah, that's what they do. They hate our country. That's why we should have stayed there paying, what did you call them, mercenaries to fight their own civil war for years and years and years, and maybe let some of the factions, the Taliban, who knows, and it would have been much better. And it's a good expenditure of American money, you know, and also putting soldiers in harm's way for no fucking reason.
Country? I don't know what's going on. Look, Bill.
Yeah, well, that was true. Hold on. He actually said something truthful.
I said, he must be doing it on purpose. They must hate the country. They must hate our country.
Think that he's subverting his own country?
I don't know what's going on. Look.
Do you? I think he must hate our country. Do you really think he's subverting our own country? I don't know what's going on.
Look, Bill, you could ask a 5-year-old child, and I actually did it.
Shit. Oh, this poor child is going to get subpoenaed by the January 6th Commission now. Look.
Action replays in magnified fashion.
Let's look at that again.
A young man was there. We talked about it.
A young man? A 5-year-old is not a young man. That's a toddler. That's a child. And we talked about it. Would you take the military out? No.
With a group of people, I said, so what would you do? I'd keep the...
Kids say the darndest military strategies. This is one of my favorite shows. This is how it went. You sure he didn't say sir? By the way, this is a fantastic look you have on your face. I can't imagine what's going through your pants right now. All right.
Army there. I would keep the military there. Look, when you see something like Afghanistan, the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened, in my opinion, to our country, I think.
So the entire Vietnam War, and I would argue one of the most embarrassing things is that we were in there for 15 years, and even during your presidency, there was no real effort to get out. That would be far more embarrassing than the actual fact that we left. But please, by the way, hang on to this. Please still be bitching about this in February.
Number one. And I think the border is, I don't think anything's close, but I think the border is...
It's a catastrophe.
Is very embarrassing.
It's a catastrophe. Except it isn't.
Right. It's a catastrophe. And it's killing our country.
He's either doing it on purpose or there's somebody telling him to do it, all right? People in his ear, and these decisions that...
Bill, you lost him. You can't give him that many options. Look at his face. You started counting. You started counting on your fingers, and then he went totally. Look at this. He what?
Doing it on purpose, or there's somebody telling him to do it. All right, people in his ear, and these decisions the president is making are hurting the country. It's either or.
No, or they're incompetent.
But look, he's surrounded by you, just as you were. You know the game.
Yes, he's no. You cannot compare the people surrounding Biden with the people surrounding Trump. Please bring up Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon and the other army of Steves.
We're in the Oval Office. You got experts all over the place. Are they all that?
What was that? Why do we get a slapback echo all of a sudden? Hold on one second. That was weird. I don't know why that does that. Okay, here we go.
Could be that way. Look, it could be a number of things. It could be they hate the country. Now, I don't happen to believe that, okay? They can't. I mean, they just can't. But how do you make decisions like the border? We have coming into our country, they're emptying out their prisons.
Right, your good friends in South America.
In many other countries. You know, I used to talk about the 3 plus Mexico. Now I'm hearing it's 47 different countries. They're coming from the Middle East.
Haiti.
They're coming in from Haiti?
Do you think
hundreds of thousands?
Hundreds of thousands. 18,000. But hundreds. Just make it hundreds. Just say hundreds of thousands. Just say it. It's got to be true enough. Like eventually. Keep in mind, these are two men who think Biden has dementia and is losing it. And
Maybe.
Do you think President Obama has President Biden's ear? Do you think President Obama?
yeah, clearly, I mean, Obama, Bill Ayers, commies, obviously Obama's whispering in his ear. That whole remark about him wanting to do the presidency remotely is now him controlling Biden. That's how it clearly works. Of course, Obama's being controlled by Hillary's people, and Hillary's people are being controlled by Bill Gates and Bill Clinton, the army of Bills. It's Bills versus Steves.
Involved at all in this?
I think he's probably involved, but actually I heard a statement which I respected. President Obama said it's not sustainable to do what we're doing with the open border.
That's what he said?
He made that statement a few days ago.
Right, we don't have an open border.
And I said, that's nice that he did that he said that.
Yeah, he said it about you. He didn't say it about policy.
It's obvious that it's true, but this group is far left of Obama. Or, again, it's in...
They're accidentally far left of Obama. That happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're walking down the steps and your heel catches.
But I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. When you look at what's going on in Texas and Arizona, when you look at tens of thousands of people pouring into our country.
Excuse me, it's hundreds of thousands, millions every month. Keep your numbers up. Otherwise, people are going to go tens of thousands. That's pretty normal. That happens all the time.
And then they say you have to wear a mask, you have to get vaccinated, you have to do all these different things. And yet these people are flowing in by the hundreds of thousands a week.
Yeah. Well, where did you get that 10,000 number then? 100,000 a week. Oh, you're just going 10,000 a day? 8,000 a day? Is what's 6,000? I mean, it's the same people over and over again, but whatever.
With no regulation at all. If you
None. And yeah, that's what's happening at the border. There is no regulation at all. Keep in mind, the only people you are hearing from in the media in any form that is saying America has an open border and there are no limits on people coming in are Republicans, are Bill O'Reilly and Trump and Fox News. They're the ones who go on every fucking day and tell you the border is wide open. It's Biden's open border. He said, come on in. The president himself has said, come on in. The border is open. It's a great border. It's a border. It's porous as hell. Just ignore the wall. Just walk right through it. That's why we made it a slat fence. We only want skinny people from South America.
President, would you say to federal employees, particularly in education and the military, you have to get vaxxed? Would you have that mandate?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say to anybody you have to, but I would sell it. Look, I'm very proud of what we did with the vaccines. It was supposed to take 5 years, and they said it wasn't going to work.
You're going to sell it like you've been selling it at your own rallies where you get booed? How are you going to sell everybody seeking services from the military and from medical professionals and from federal authorities if the person they're interacting with could be sick and spreading a disease?
3 vaccines in less than 9 months, and they do work. They work really well. I would convince people, take it. I don't want to push it. Look, it's killing our country right now because so many people are being laid off. They can't get workers. That's a big factor, by the way.
So many people are being laid off, they can't get workers?
And why the ships are docked out there. We can't get anything into the country.
Because you wouldn't mandate federal employees.
Yeah, it's not because there's a ginormous backlog from during the heavier parts of lockdown and a stagger start supply chain that just, operating in fits and starts and overwhelming parts of it because all this stuff is backed up and you have 16, one person, revolving doors built for 4 people. And then 35 people try to bull rush through, and suddenly the revolving door is not as great a plan anymore.
Numbers of great employees, great people, great employees.
You mean the deep state? Good, thanks.
Leaving their jobs because of the whole vaccination.
Would you have them tested? They have to get
Sure, they can be tested. They can be tested. But here's the thing. When I was president, there was no talk about mandates or anything. Everybody wanted the vaccine.
Yeah, everybody except your voters.
Now a lot of people don't want it.
Anti-vaxxers.
Well, they maybe don't trust Biden.
Yeah, that's what it is. They don't trust. You came up with the vaccine. You bragged about Operation Fart Steed.
Captain's log.
Whoops.
Captain's log.
There you go. You bragged about it. It's your vaccine. Your own people are booing you at your own fucking rallies, and it's because they don't trust them.
It's your vaccine, and you've told them to get vaxxed.
It is, and I have said it.
And so does the Pope. You and the Pope both said get vaxxed.
Okay, I have said it. Other people have said it. But remember this, when they call a pause to Johnson & Johnson, that was
to make sure that it doesn't kill young men because it's a different vaccine than the Moderna or Pfizer ones, or even the AstraZeneca ones, and it has specific health concerns, and they put a pause in it to make sure it's okay. That's bad. Okay.
a huge story. People said, would you say it? I said, wait a minute. They just caused a pause. Over 6 people, I guess most of whom were okay in the end. They paused this. This was a huge headline. They don't know about Johnson & Johnson. They just know the vaccine got paused. They have done so many things.
Yeah, but then after the pause, the majority of people you're talking about ended up getting Johnson & Johnson. I think fucking Rachel Maddow got Johnson & Johnson. Like it's real. It's one and done. Everybody talks about it. Jesus Christ.
Let me clear. You would not mandate federal employees have to get vaccinated.
No, but I think I'd get most people to take it.
Right,
I think
I would just talk them into it. Like I would talk one of the forces in, not the Taliban and not obviously the Afghan military, but I would have just done a thing where I kept the whole, listen, look, Bill. I would try, and it would probably fail, but
you wouldn't.
I think that they would trust me. Okay. They're not trusting this.
Why? Based on, they don't do it now. You get booed. It's the only time he gets booed at his own rallies is when he brings up the vaccine. What the fuck are you talking about? They trust you.
Administration.
Did China weaponize COVID and then it escaped from Wuhan lab?
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Now, he's got a tough spot right here. He's got a bunch of Q people who absolutely think it was on purpose. He wants to have deals with China in the future. Financially, he thinks it's a good idea, even though if you're looking for a worse bet on Earth right now, Chinese real estate kicks all their asses. But okay, let's see the answer to this one. How do I answer this without ruining some sideline deals my kids set up while I was president?
I think what happened is China looked, and I was the first one of the early ones to say,
said stop travel from China. That's not what he asked you, fucko.
It came from Wuhan, that came from the lab.
Chinese virus.
No, everybody knows it came from Wuhan. Everybody knows that was the epicenter. The question was, did it come from a wet market? Did it come from the lab? Did it come from the lab accidentally, or did it come from the lab on purpose? These are the 3 major reasons that people are giving as a possibility. Now, if it came from the lab on purpose, that means you were a president during the worst biological attack in the United States history that killed 600,000 plus people during your last year in office, and you not only ignored it and played it down so you could do a trade deal with the people who attacked us with said bioweapon, which is the argument that those folks would make, but you sold them the largest shipment of beef, corn, and soybeans in their history during it. I mean, can we eventually just get off of Chamberlain's back about this? But okay, so here we go.
And everyone went crazy. I never forget, I said that. I didn't think it was such a big statement. People went crazy, the left. They went totally crazy when I said it.
Well, no. When people were upset, you were calling it the China virus, for example. And calling it the Wu flu or calling it the CCP virus or those kind of things, you can argue about that part of it. But when you call it the China virus, Chinese people and Asians in general, because a lot of the most racist among us can't tell the difference anyways or wouldn't even try, that puts them in danger. Or blames even the Chinese people, who are not to be blamed in this, no matter how much the CCP may have been involved in disseminating it or not caring. If it was on purpose by the CCP or accidental by the CCP, it's still not the people's fault in China. They are under this regime in the same way that North Korean people are stuck this way. Nobody chooses to be born in North Korea in that regard. Yeah, exactly. People went nuts because he was racist about it, because he was attaching it to the people. Now, there's linguistic problems that you have to be aware of, where Chinese people and the Chinese people, meaning citizens of China or Chinese people or people of Chinese descent, it overlaps linguistically. So you got to make distinctions there. He didn't. That's the problem. And then you have a rise of Asian hate crimes for that very reason.
So the big question is, did China do this on purpose or not?
That would be the big question, because that means you were president if you answer it that way during the worst bioweapon attack in history. Let's hear it.
I think probably they didn't, okay?
They did not.
I think they did not do it on purpose. It certainly fit their agenda pretty well in many ways because it knocked us out.
So it was because of incompetency. Basically, whatever the Biden administration and CCP, what's the difference?
It knocked out the world, and it knocked them also, however, but they were able to control it. One of the worst things that happened is
they were able to control it? No, they were not. They're still having big blowups of it there. What are you talking about? They lied about their numbers. They continue to lie about their numbers, and they still have huge outbreaks.
they kept it in Wuhan and the rest of the world, but it didn't go to the rest of China for the most part. It didn't go to the.
But you could fly.
So they put a wall, so to speak.
But you don't think they weaponized COVID?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why didn't you fire
certainly
Fauci?
Hope not.
Why didn't you fire Fauci? Everybody hates Fauci.
Well, it didn't matter because I did.
Yeah, everybody hates Fauci. And by everyone, you mean you and Bill O'Reilly and right-wingers who want to, I don't know.
Much the opposite of what he would suggest.
But you still had him.
No, he's been there a long time. I actually got along with him very well. Call me Tony. He goes, call me Tony, sir.
Is that how it went? Call me Tony, sir? So he said it so convincingly, you think your name is Tony now.
Me, Tony.
He was a much better
Hold on.
promoter than he goes, call me Tony. He's been there a long time. I actually got along with him very well. Call me Tony. He goes, call me Tony, sir.
That's right. Anybody who gets along with Fauci, we just call them Tony. You might want to get the whole he said before you say call me Tony, because Bill was concerned for a moment. He thought this was one of those moments and they were going to have to stop down and restart the interview again from scratch.
Call me Tony.
He was a much better promoter than he was a doctor.
But you didn't fire him.
No, I didn't fire him. He said, let them come in from China. Months after I closed it, I said,
He did not. Let them come in from China months after I closed it.
In hindsight, you should have sacked him. Come on.
he had much less influence in my administration.
Optics.
Well, look, I mean, Tony.
What are you talking about? He's the one who talked you into the 15 days to, slow the spread thing. It was a week of convincing this asshole. They were showing him the charts like, this is how many dead if you do nothing. You're talking about 1 million dead in the last year of your presidency.
Wait 1 second. Tony Fauci said, masks are no good. Don't wear masks.
No, he didn't.
We all know that.
Now he's a
But everybody
radical
wants to know
master.
why didn't you fire him? Why?
And he's been there a long time.
Why didn't you fire General Milley? Come on, Milley.
So Milley was a different guy when I was there.
Different guy.
He played to whoever was sitting in the Oval Office.
So he's a phony.
Well, he made some statements that were really dumb. For instance, on the military, when I said we're moving out of Afghanistan, we'll take our time. I dealt with Abdul. Abdul was not going to do anything to us. The head of
Until the deadline came, and then you're on your own.
the Taliban. And I was very rough with Abdul, but you know what?
I was very rough with him? Really? Did you pull his hair or whatever? Just slam him over the couch? You were very rough with him? I'm just saying, according to you, he likes the rough stuff. He likes it rough. I don't know that would help.
It was fine. We had a good
So you were rough with someone who just got out of a Pakistani jail.
understanding, and we got along just fine.
Yeah, of course. You got along just fine. Milley's a phony man who served in the military under you, and you chose to put him in a position of an advisory position in your administration. But please tell us how Abdul Baradar. Yeah.
But Milley said when I said all equipment out, all people out, all Americans out, and other people. But I said I want every nut, every bolt. I want the tents. I want everything.
And Milley said, fine.
No. Milley said, sir, it's cheap.
Sir,
To leave it there than it is to take it. I believe that's why they left it, because
Why didn't you fire him when he said it?
no, I just thought
Bill, Trump doesn't fire people. His producers fire people. If somebody doesn't tell Trump to fire somebody, he won't do it. And even when you tell him he has to fire somebody, he waits a year.
it was very stupid. Okay.
Well, why did you keep him there?
Because you suck. Because you're a coward. Tell him the truth. Tell him you don't have the nuts to fire people, even though that was your... It's just a slogan, Bill. That's the answer. Because you're fired was a bumper sticker, not a reality. I want the forts. Yeah, we were going to take the forts as well.
It's a long story, but I will
No, it isn't. It's not a long story. You ran on the guy who could go, you're fired, get out of there, and you didn't fire anybody.
tell you, they've been there a long time, and I'm not looking to do terrible things to people, but he said,
No, not at all. I'm not looking to do terrible things to people.
stupid things.
All right.
Well, that's not doing something terrible. You can fire him. He's not going to get executed. You just replace him. It's an administration. You do whatever the fuck you want.
Now, final question. You know the Zuckerberg story unfolding?
I'm here.
Yeah. This whole Zuckerberg story or whatever, where, you mean the part where they have to change his battery 3 times a week?
It's a big story, and I
Okay.
think it's illegal what he did.
Well,
What would that be? What was the thing that's illegal? That he donated to nonprofits and to cities so that they could have, get out the vote campaigns?
this is the real rigged election. This is the real steal.
This is the real rigged election, meaning that the bullshit that Trump believes, look at his face right now. That's what this means. That the bullshit Trump believes about, hackers and Chinese votes and fake ballots and panda shit in Arizona and all this stuff is nonsense. It's just that Zuckerberg paid to get out the vote of all these Democrats, and now they're able to vote. Not that any of their votes were fake, just that we've been working for years to stop these people from voting, and now they get to vote because of Zuckerberg. This is terrible. It's rigged against us.
Well, it's part of it, but it's a big
No,
part
but
of it.
this is it.
Yeah.
If you see
Yeah. This is it. Yes, because the rest of what you're talking about is horse shit. I mean, this is too, but,
where the $400 million that he donated to the left-wing nonprofits, if you
Nonprofits. What did those nonprofits do, Bill? What'd they do? What'd they do with that money? What'd they do with it?
see where that money is, because we've been investigating, it's in all the places that there was suspect. So,
oh, you mean all the places where people had been denied voting machines or drop boxes or get out the vote campaigns had been strategically slowed down, and that money actually went to places that previously the Paul Weyrich clan of the right wing had been denying the vote for as many people of color for as long as possible through semi-legal and illegal means, and that this made up for it. That part.
it wasn't voter machine fraud or dead people. It was.
By the way, it was everything. It was.
It wasn't voter machine fraud or dead people. Look, just the demoralization. Bill, you guys have to do tour dates together. I mean, it's 2 states and nobody gives a shit, but
This was the big one.
including this. But this was the big one. Yes, drop boxes full of legit votes. This is it.
You realize, because you're president of the United States, it is against the law to electioneer at a polling place.
Yeah.
You can't. That's a crime.
Okay.
All right? But not if you have mail-in ballots. You can go to somebody's living room and fill it out for them.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Is that what happened, Bill? That they went door to door? Because he's not buying that one. You can't go to a dead person's living room. It doesn't fit the scheme, Bill. This is a whole different.
That's part of what happened. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that was part of what happened. What really happened was a bunch of 9-year-olds who don't even live in the state who died 20 years ago all voted.
He did, in my
Why is Trump's hair so shiny? Hairspray.
opinion, was illegal.
This is Zuckerberg.
Yeah, it was illegal.
How?
with the drop boxes or the lock boxes or maybe the unlock boxes.
Yeah, I call them because I have a way with words and I'm a marketing genius. I call them the unlock boxes.
It was electioneering.
Did you ever see the percentage of vote that Biden got in those boxes when they came in? And sometimes those
90%.
boxes, sometimes 97%.
Yeah, because they were targeting it.
Correct. And there are
to the poor and impoverished and black communities that were denied machines. And so this was one of the first ways that they could really get an indicative vote from those communities. Paper trail everywhere.
Does it say it was totally illegal?
But he's going to get away with it. But now we know what happened. Poor Rudy Giuliani.
Well, you don't know if he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, you do. I mean, because it's not a crime.
Okay.
Not under the Biden Justice
But it
Department.
would seem that they don't do anything to anybody but Republicans. Doesn't it seem that way, right?
Well, Wisconsin's
Well, no. Ask Bill Clinton.
not going to do anything because Evers vetoed it already, and Biden and Merrick Garland are not going to do anything. You know,
Wisconsin is looking very, very strongly at it right now.
Oh, yeah, very strongly. They're staring at it really hard. They're looking at it strongly. Just if you lean into it, you can just look at it hard like that. Oh, don't look that hard. That's too hard.
Now, their Senate, which really controls that,
Evers
more so
gonna be
than
right.
Evers. Let's see what happens.
All right.
But with Wisconsin, they found tremendous fraud. But when you look at those boxes and what you look at what Facebook and others did,
And others, namely, China.
it's a disgrace.
now we covered an
Disgrace, that covers it.
enormous amount of ground, thanks to me, because I am focused. All right, but I just want to get this.
Jesus. Again, this is what happens when Trump meets an egotistical sexual assaulter just like himself. These guys, this is two old farts jockeying for the last chick in the stable.
Thinking about changing your style if you get back into the presidential sweepstakes. You're not going to be as harsh because you have a record to run on. Is that what I've heard?
No, you're getting back to the first question, and no, that's not what you're hearing, stupid.
Will do whatever it takes to make America great again. That's all I'm going to do. Whatever it takes. If I have to be harsh, I'll be harsh. If I have to, let me tell you, I was harsh with NATO. Got $430 billion from NATO. They were ripping us off.
That's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly, but I'll do whatever it takes to make America great again.
If that means shitting on Republicans between now and 2024 every goddamn week, that's what I'm going to do. And by the way, that's what he means. And that's what Bill O'Reilly's worried about. Bill O'Reilly, his main concern right now is the fact that every time Trump shows up, he's spent Pelosi, Biden, I hate them. Of course, I'm supposed to. But these rhinos. And so everywhere they go, they attack Republicans and they put up these lunatics that won't, they're going to turn a bunch of purple districts blue.
And our country is in trouble. Our country
Big time.
has never.
Big time. Oh, totally. It's totally in trouble. It's almost as if we're coming out of a major pandemic and are still dealing with the ramifications. It should have been erased in March.
Been in a position like it is right now. We're not respected by anybody.
We're not respected. All right, let's see. Look at this. No confidence has gone down to 22%. Confidence has gone up to 75% from 17%. This is end of the Trump presidency, beginning of the Biden presidency. This is whoop, whoop. We're not respected anymore. Is that what it is? I'm sorry. Please continue. So pitiful.
We'll do what it takes, and it will be all about America first, whatever I have to do.
Now, we have sold more than 30,000 tickets for the Trump O'Reilly History Tour.
Good.
I always put your name first, Mr.
You better,
President.
you better.
Okay. More than 30. 1,000. We still have about 15,000 left. All right? I think based on this interview that anybody would want to see Trump O'Reilly on the stage. Do you concur?
I think so.
This is an ad. It's an ad. It's not an interview. It's an ad. Now, what Trump doesn't know is that it's an ad for O'Reilly.
I think it's going to be very successful. Already is successful. Look.
Yeah, it's already successful. I mean, there's 15,000 tickets unsold, and a lot of weirdos scalping it. It's the same assholes who drive around the country going to these things. They're going to go to all four of them, but whatever.
With virtually no advertising, in fact, until a couple of weeks ago, no advertising.
Right.
You sold 60% of the seats, as I understand it. You're doing.
It's because
we're
of
doing
you.
4 locations.
It's not me. It's you.
Well, it's a combination. Look, it's
right.
a combination.
We have nice ties, both of us.
We've always had a great thing, not necessarily friendly, but we've always
not necessarily friendly. Not after those questions.
some great little debates going over the years. And
like today.
We always had a lot of fun. But I think we're going to have fun. We're going to learn together. We're going to have a...
Yeah, we're going to grow. You're going to traipse through a field of daisies. You're going to, and they end the whole thing by somebody brings out a kiddie pool full of baby oil, and they both strip down. Sorry.
Great audience. And it really is selling amazingly well. Considering we spent no money on promotion,
That's right, no marketing.
money on anything.
Right.
And we have big arenas, and they're almost sold out. They're getting...
Yeah. I'm there's no way that the tickets aren't being scalped.
to being
Certified resale value.
sold
Right.
out. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President, for putting up with me. I think that was one of the best interviews you've done. I see you on cable TV. Nothing comes close to this. You know it. You know it.
You do a good job, Bill. I've
Poke him. This is amazing.
always said it. Thank you.
That was it.
I must really love you.
So basically they have 15,000 tickets to sell, and then there are a bunch of people who have bought the tickets early and are reselling them. So they have the ticket for $100 or $80 or whatever, and they're selling them for, they're scalping, basically. That's what's happened, is that they're scalping the front row tickets, and now oh God. So, all right. So this is, I'm sure when they post these things, somebody's going to videotape them for posterior, and then eventually they'll put them online. If you couldn't make it, pay-per-view, and then you know what that means. I have to pay for it, download it, and then break it down. The things I do. All right. God. But we have to say there were a couple of moments in that were actually pretty sound. These were pretty, I think this look on his face sums up the entire interview. Yes, for posterior. My neck hurts from Bill asking the hard questions to kissing Trump's ass. Yeah, the whiplash is hilarious. 2 buffoons, 1 cup. Oh my God. He said he didn't wear a condom. Where's the barf emoji? Yeah. Is he going toward Bill O'Reilly because he needs a minder? Yeah, basically. These conversations are going to be like, how many people think that he's going to get booed, that Bill O'Reilly's going to get booed by Trump's audience for asking him tough questions more than once? Because that's going to be part of it. Because there's a bunch of nutty, cute style folks are going to be showing up at this thing, and this is basically Trump's whole. This should be his poster picture, not the one that they were selling like this. Not the shaved egg Bill O'Reilly and the I fell asleep on the beach in Key West and just woke up. This should be Trump's picture on the. Yeah, MTG is going to come in for an encore. They'll. I see. I don't know that'll end up happening. Can't see beyond Trump and Republicans cover the daily virus. Okay, all right. Next up, it's a warning. Bangino, who's looking for a teepee for his bunghole. Teepee. says this could be the abrupt end of my new radio show. This is the end. This is the middle. This is the beginning. Hold on. You got to take this. Stop. Pause. Back up. All right. So this is it's got to be a tough announcement. You know, the toughest announcement since his scalp pigmentation went awry. Let's see. Dan Bongino, this could be the end.
Well, to those of you out there who work for this company and other companies, I don't speak with forked tongue. I'm with you.
I don't speak with forked tongue. I'm with you. And by the way, he's got the little. Please read this really fast.
And I'm working today and have been for weeks on this.
You sound great. You don't sound bitter and dejected and broken at all.
And candidly, I'd rather not be here today on the station or any of the.
Well, then something we finally share, because we'd rather you not be on the air either. But we're glad you are, because you might read something and it's hilarious.
Stations. I'd rather just talk to you on my podcast.
Yeah, I understand. And if you haven't listened to Bongino's Go Nat or Go Home anti-steroid rants, it's beautiful stuff, especially when he stops giggling.
Mine. And I do what I want. And I do what I want here too. Make no mistake.
Well, it's not a mistake. Clearly, you can't do what you do on your podcast on there. Right now, I'm sure on your podcast you speak louder. This is all so depressing.
But I'm doing it.
I love to do it. I just did it and I want to do it again. I just can't do it on the radio.
I want something to change and I'm giving them an opportunity to do it. But if they don't, this is going to be an entirely untenable situation going forward.
What, do they have a vax mandate at your station?
You really want me on your airwaves every day talking about this?
No, actually.
You have a choice. Mm-hmm. I work with you. I do not work for you.
They gave you a show, so yeah, you do. Yes, you do work for them. Sorry. Where in the world do you think you don't work for the station or production company that put your show on? The fuck are you talking about?
I never will.
You do already. You are currently lying. Yes, you work for these idiots, whoever they are. He's a broken man.
You've had other people in a corner, but you don't have me.
Well, they have you in a box. I mean, you've got it in. You're filming this for Instagram, for Christ's sakes.
And it's my obligation, given everything I've been through health-wise. It's my obligation to stand up for them.
Huh?
A lot of them, their entire livelihood was at risk. I don't know if you cared about that or you just disregarded it. I don't know. Would you have a personal consultation with Fauci or something? They tell you how valuable these mandates are?
It's the station he's on. He's got to come into the building and do a show on the station. He's got to do this thing. Here's a good idea. Build your own fucking station, asshole. Who cares? Is that what this is about? Do they have a vaccine mandate at the studio you use every day? Because that's really the only area it matters. Who gives a shit if you're vaccinated or not if you do your show from home? I am, but I do my show from home. But if I wasn't, and I was against it, or being a prick like you, I'd build a studio at home and it'd be nobody's goddamn business. But, see, you get to do your podcast or whatever else from that studio, and it looks all pro, and you get your free room and all this kind of stuff, and it's written into your contract that you get the space to do it. You don't want to pony up for a $400 microphone and a backdrop.
Again, I don't know what led you to the mistaken belief that I was just going to sit back and take this and let these people wither on the vine.
I still don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm not. So we find ourselves in this situation right here where
What situation? This is your clip. The fuck are you talking about?
I'm on their airwaves. You're listening to me on their airwaves. They're standing
So you do work for them.
by a principle that's not mine. A principle it goes entirely against my
Then get your own fucking airwaves, dum-dum.
dose of freedom and liberty. And we're at a logger.
Then stop and do your fucking show on podcast. Or what do you mean? What?
So I'll be keeping you updated on that situation day by day.
What situation?
What I'm doing. And as I said, I don't see this going forward as a workable arrangement.
He's pregnant. Is he pregnant? He's pregnant. Thanks. I'm glad you think my setup is way classier. I appreciate that. I built this myself, you know. I did these graphics myself. There are multiple layers. So like the name goes over the thing and then that's put down there. I wish my green screen was bigger, but what are you going to do? I mean, if I lean this way, you can't tell. I guess.
But
the fuck are you talking about? Is your station vax mandating or what? And why can't you do it at home? And what the fuck are you talking about?
you're kind of in a spot, doesn't it?
No, I don't. No one knows.
It's them kind of in a spot too.
Why are they in a spot? I guarantee they can find somebody to fill in your time in the airways. Nobody gives a shit.
We both can't be in that spot at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's a time spot during this. They'll have to find somebody else, to do the radio show during that time. That happens. Yeah. Won't be hard. You think there's a shortage of right-wing assholes who want like, hey, you want a free radio spot for 2 hours in the afternoon, drive time, or wherever the fuck he's on?
So I told you what I was going to do. I told you I was going to go on the air today and address this.
What, bore everyone to death?
And now you have it.
No, I don't have it. What the fuck are you talking about?
And I'll be doing that every day. This is
great. I hope it's just this clear. Jesus Christ. The fuck? Make a note to self. Make fucking sense tomorrow.
This is day one.
Yeah, write down day one in your journal. Dear God, this is me, Bongino. I'm looking for TP for my bunghole.
And vaccine mandate action. Okay, so we will be.
I'm sorry, what? This is the note. This is fucking hell. What?
Mandate of Dan's vaccine mandate action. Okay, so we will be.
This is day one of Dan's vaccine action. What?
Track of this moving forward.
Yeah, everybody got your notebook out? The fuck?
I really don't want to do this.
Do what? Do what? Does anybody know what the fuck he's talking about?
But because you've been gracious enough to listen to this show and listen to me, I do have to produce a product for you for 3 hours a day, and I do.
Because of the right, because you're contracted to do so. Because you fucking work for somebody, you tool. Jesus.
Leave in that product. And
by the way, he's drinking tea. Do you have a sore throat? Does he have COVID? Is that what's happening? Does he have the flu?
I'm on the air with these airwaves, however long that lasts.
Drinking tea. But don't worry. It's not like, it's not like a girly tea. It's like a man tea. It puts the tea in testosterone.
I am going to produce you a product so you're not wasting your time.
What? Who? Who are you talking to? Your own producers? What the fuck?
But I want you to know I'm not letting this go.
What, your show? It sounds like you are. What are you not letting go?
I'm not even considering letting it go. I'm announcing
Well,
it
apparently you are.
publicly so you know I'm not letting it go. I'm announcing it to them on their airwaves so they know, you know, I know.
I'm sorry, their airways? I thought they work for you.
We know and they know nobody's letting it go.
You know that I know that you want to fuck me. Now, bend over. Sorry, Eddie Murphy.
But I promise you, I have no intentions of letting these guys
Dictate what they do at their own business as an employee. Get fucked, you clown.
get let go, get harassed because they made a private and personal medical decision on only one of the biggest issues of our time. Imagine the countless number of individuals trying to explain to these companies ever thought of that? The countless numbers of moms and dads who are sitting at some kitchen table explaining
Saying, yeah, look, your mom's got an immunological issue and she can't get the vaccine, so I have to be extra careful. And there's some anti-vax assholes at my office, and they've been fighting it, and I mean the company's pushing back, but they can't do anything about it. And they're walking around the hallways coughing on people, so I have to quit my job and we have to move so that your mom doesn't die. You mean conversations like that?
kids, how they may have to move out, how daddy doesn't have a job.
No. So moms don't have jobs. I see.
Because a bunch of people in a C-suite thought it'd be a good idea to sit around and play pretend Dr. Fauci for a moment and mandate people jam something in their bodies that they don't want to take.
Or get tested once a week.
You ever put yourself in that role? You ever put yourself at that kitchen table with mom?
Yeah. I mean, I had to get the whooping cough vaccine when my kids started going to kindergarten because I wanted to volunteer. So yeah,
Dad telling their kids that?
kids, we got to move. Why? Because I'm an anti-vaxxer, and if your mother and I have talked, and we want you both to die of measles, so we're moving to Oregon and joining a cult.
Imagine how the kids respond. That fear they got to live with.
I don't know. I would ask Joe Biden's dad.
You know, I grew up without a lot of money. My mom used to make bologna sandwiches for dinner.
Right, and you'd cook the bologna because it was stale, and it'd make the bologna last long.
And when the bologna was no good, you'd cook it and you'd make
Right, we've heard this bullshit before.
good right quick, right?
Yeah, the old cooked bologna sandwich story. Fuck off.
I'm not leaving any of those guys behind.
And by those guys, you mean bologna sandwiches, right?
Have me, or you can have the mandate.
I guess mandate then. Yeah, I guess voting, guys. We can have a mandate where we work in a place where people either have to get it's a testing mandate. It's not really a vaccine mandate, but everybody has to get tested once a week until we get through this, or you can get the vaccine, or we can all work with Mr. Cooks tuna in the microwave and leaves half-open yogurt containers mixed with some sort of whey powder, I guess, in the fridge while drinking nothing but pre-workouts all day long and farting holes in the office walls. Anybody? Yes? Okay. It's unanimous, Dan. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
But you can't have both of us. Well, to those of you...
Seriously, I don't know what the fuck that is. I still don't know. And this is his clip. He posted this. Dan Bongino show clips. I work with you. I do not work for you. Yes, he does. He works for them. He's under contract to them. That's how contracts work. I simply cannot stay silent and watch this happen. I accept the consequences that may... What are you... The fuck are you talking about? All right. I don't have a lot of time left, but I want to show you as much of this as I can. So how do we even start this? Jesus. Okay. So almost every time I see a Glenn Beck clip from The Blaze come across my feed in the algorithm that is so confused on YouTube as to what I watch and what I want to watch. It doesn't get me. I don't know about you, but because I watch so much right-wing crap for the show, and because I, study the argument on the other side, and then I watch stuff that I'm interested in, which is a broad range of things, the algorithm is just effectively broken. Doesn't get me. It's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. What do you want from me? What videos can I give you? I can't. How could anyone watch 20 videos of Indian news sources about Chinese adventurism in Tibet and Kashmir, and then go watch 4 Ben Shapiro videos, and then a bunch of stuff on Winger and the progressions they wrote? And then, how do you even do this? All right, so this came up in my feed, and I thought it was another, because of the title, I thought it was another short video like he always posts over there, right? And the title of this is Comply or Die: How America will enforce total wokeness. This is from Glenn TV. He's stealing the old CBS specials.
We've shown.
So Biden's at the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum, they want the Great Reset. That you are supposed to believe that everybody who shows up at the World Economic Forum is totally on board with, quote unquote, the Great Reset, and that the Great Reset isn't just trying to fix financial woes like credit default swaps and layered hidden money and oligarchs, just undermining the real estate market in multiple countries. You're not supposed to believe that. You're just supposed to believe that everybody there is agreeing on the same thing, and what the Great Reset is really just a new version of the Chinese Cultural Revolution.
How the far left is using the environment to push their agenda.
Using the environment to push their agenda. That left-leaning slant of breathing and not watching people in impoverished countries cook to death by the sun.
All-out effort, like a world war, but it's us against greenhouse gases.
I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
How big government is in bed with all of the powerful players needed to make their socialistic, fascistic agendas a reality.
Yes, Bank of America. That's it. Global, and by the way, this is Professor Glenn, I guess, finance fascist, and then this he draws. He's big on the on his blackboard stuff. Remember back in the old CNN and headline news days, they give him 2 blackboards and he'd bullshit around. Now he's got colored chalk. He's drawn the SEC, the Treasury, and the FBI. The FDI. We'll see. The Fed, federal something. Anyways, global oligarchy using government and the environment to control. And this is understand this. This is the diagram that helps you. If you don't understand it, just look to the diagram. It will suddenly illuminate your mind.
Following your money, and we're about to be choked into compliance.
My goodness, that sounds dirty.
It all comes together in a new social.
The MSNBC, the Insurrection Committee, is voting on Steve Bannon. Well, that's good. I will wait until they actually vote for it. Yeah. Oh, and yes, Dennis Prager is the guy you're thinking. Somebody said Glenn Prager. No, that's Dennis. This is Dennis Prager has COVID. This is Glenn Beck.
Credit score that's right around the corner.
It's a series of blue NPCs.
Called ESG. Tonight, the S, the social justice component, that's about to transform this nation and your life forever.
Dear God.
Making steps to increase diversity in the legal profession.
Apparently we're not allowed to use the term normal anymore.
Let's new commercials about a father teaching his transgender son how to shave.
Dick's Sporting
So?
will stop selling assault-style rifles.
Yes, I would line those 2 things up. Dick's Sporting Goods will stop selling guns that are not for sport.
As well, they're just trying to show that they are also forward-thinking.
It's no coincidence that America's largest corporations are all taking drastic measures to prove...
Oh, not you, Chick-fil-A. Dear God. He didn't say this on a Sunday, did he?
Their loyalty to the left's woke mob.
And we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes.
And it's trickling down to the most vulnerable among us.
It wouldn't seem like the Chick-fil-A CEO wasn't pandering to a particular black person on a show that he was on and trying to build a bridge across a perceived level of anti-LGBT sentiment between himself and the particular person he was talking to, or anything.
Kids.
Critical race theory is making its way into our after-school programs.
Yes, but obviously a rampant pair of scissors.
Critical race theory is making its way into...
Honestly, did someone just run by and snip your hair? What happened?
Our after-school programs.
IC superintendent said Tuesday that LGBTQ history is a part of American history.
Transgenders.
It is not. No gay person has ever done anything for America except be gay, which is anti-American. Someone please stop this.
In the 5 high schools now have unrestricted access to locker rooms and restrooms.
Photos from a class were leaked and debated that showed a presentation on white privilege.
Social justice is no longer a simple catchphrase.
A presentation by a student? Obviously, we have to stop student free speech, especially on issues they care about. It's terrible.
Used by the left, it has become a monetized
Yeah, there's lots of money in it. Look, I mean, you don't think these signs like that are free, do you? I mean, you have to hire a graphic designer. You have to go to Office Max.
To ensure you bend the knee to their demands. And it is coming for you, for your business, for your kids.
Especially if they're gingers. Which, of course, we know gingers have no soul and they shouldn't be allowed anywhere.
That is, if it...
I'm beginning to think this kid is coming for me. This is scaring me. This got really Children of the Corn really quick. Kid, back up. I have Scottish family. It's okay. It was a joke about the whole not having souls thing. I feel like
isn't already. Tonight, I'll show you the proof of the danger that is coming our way. Tonight, comply or die.
Comply or die. It seems like a reach, but I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure within just a couple of minutes we'll go, this is clearly something that's part of an international agenda, and it's all coming at down the barrel of a gun.
How America will enforce total wokeness.
Well, except for, this guy, obviously. He's got a red brain, and he's walking the other way. And what I guess he turns white and disintegrates. This is like when they point the laser at him. I am so feared right now. Got so much fear. I'm fearing right now, like, so hard.
Hello, America.
Shit, you can't do that to me. You can't switch from Professor Glenn Beck to Cowboy Glenn Beck. I don't have the action playset out. Hello, America. I'm Hide Your Jowls captain on my jowl hiding team, Glenn Beck.
Tonight,
put your collar down, you fucking phony.
Come to you with some answers. I think a lot of people have said, why is it these corporations are doing these things that nobody likes? How?
Yeah. Like, I mean, pumpkin spice is a bunch of bullshit.
Is it that our government just keeps abusing? How is it we're spending? I don't know if you saw Joe Biden's speech today. $2 trillion worth of spending and another $2 trillion coming after the last $2 trillion that they passed last week.
Because they didn't? When was this filmed? For fuck's sake, man. Hold on. When is this? Episode 98? It doesn't say.
Where are they getting all this money?
Where could they possibly? It could be that the Fed is buying back treasuries, of course, and a lot of people are getting out of Chinese bonds right now or whatever. And of course, that there's a tendency to try and put more money into the monetary system during a downturn, for example, especially one caused by a pandemic. But, because you don't want the economy to collapse, because the long-term impacts of a collapsed economy cost way more money than any kind of the bailouts, because we actually made money on the Obama bailout. That's not what you're talking about, is it? You're talking about something else.
How does this all end? Tonight.
Well, it obviously doesn't. It ends with all of us buck naked being brought up into heaven with our clothes in a pile on the ground. The good Christians, anyways.
I'll show you. And it is happening at a very rapid pace. And you will understand why when you hear about virus passports. The government says, which should make us feel better, hey, let the private sector do it. Well, no. After
can't let the private sector do it. Who trusts corporations? Republicans? Get out of here.
You'll understand why they're saying that.
Because they're not doing a government mandate, and that they're allowing companies to make that decision on their own based on their insurance costs.
Why we can't let the private sector get away with.
No, we need government to tell private sector what the, oh shit.
This. All right. We lined out a chalkboard recently, and
we lined out a chalkboard because that's what I do with a chalkboard. I line it out. You lined it out. This makes sense. Anybody who's confused, just take a glance at this shit. And it doesn't, I know you think it looks like the paranoid tunnel vision of an anti-government, anti-USA crackpot who wants to be the next Pat Robertson, but no, it's not. It's just, we had some extra red crayons. The FDIC, the Treasury, and the Secretary from the government is a laser beam that is coming down from the Fed funnel that is going down your head, and a tiny little thing about the banks. I mean, the Fed's really the problem, but that says banks, just so you know. And the environment and social justice and the global oligarchy are apparently playing a giant game of Monopoly on the lowest res version of the video game Tempest we've ever seen.
It apparently has, it's a very dangerous tree. And
that's not a tree. I mean, I know we're not supposed to question children's artwork, but that doesn't look like a tree to me. That does not look like a tree. It looks like a robot colonoscopy of the algorithm that created Q.
And we shook it, and we've got our first real pushback. One of the largest banks in the country, one of the big five, reached out.
You shook the tree?
To me and my staff, and I'll come back to that in a second. But I want to tell you that what you're about to see, and the fact that you're being documented even watching this program.
Jesus Christ, I'm being tracked. Everybody, you leave the chat room now. Save yourselves. I'll watch it alone and I'll get back to you. They're tracking you right now. I can feel my... Is that... Oh, my chip just moved. That's the... Is that... I felt my chip rolling through... There it is. I got it out. Okay, everybody eject your chip. Good.
Where something is being recorded about your...
Well, I should hope so.
Patient in this.
I mean, you shouldn't record this. It saves it to YouTube if you want to watch it later. If you're watching this later, well done.
You will be affected by your choices. Every single choice.
What? Hold on a second. How did I end up an adult in this conversation?
I built the Blaze for this purpose and this time. And as long as there's one person out there that wants to hear the truth, as I understand.
We don't want to hear it. We need to hear it because it's hilarious. But no one's waiting for you in your corduroy jacket and your cowboy neckerchief jowl tourniquet and your weird blue glasses and your collection of gourds. All right.
Understand it, and as others on our team understand it.
Or understand it. It's a big word. Comprehend it. No, that's too big too. Perceive it. I think that might be it.
We will be here for you, but we so desperately need your help to stay in...
To pay for this bullshit.
Business and...
Those aren't gourds, Hal. Jesus Christ! If you receive a package in the mail of a gourd from Glenn Beck, don't go to sleep.
To afford all of the investigation and all of the rest that is coming our way, I'm sure.
Really? You're going to pass the fucking plate this early in the sermon?
You can join us. We've put a promo code right...
Asshole. No. You don't got the promo code control. How ironic. He's controlling you. All right.
At the very beginning, it's...
Oh, I know it. Chip's not in here. He's asleep upstairs. I'll see if I can get him by the end of the show.
Control. You can go to blazetv.com/Glenn, use the promo code control, and you will save 20%. Okay.
No, I'm sorry? That's, just so you know, and I know you want us to trust you that the information you're about to give us is completely legit, right? That you're going to be talking about economics, the Fed, banks, interest rates, Chinese trade, and these are all full of details that everyone needs to take you seriously about. Just that's a dollar sign, not a percentage sign. I'm just saying. But fuck it. We don't have time to retape this.
Let me take you back to how all of this started, because this is the end of capitalism. This is the fundamental transformation of not just America, but the globe, the global economy, a way to...
Star Trek is coming. We're all getting replicators. So exciting. Earl Grey, please.
Really transform society in the West and the East, as all of us know it.
Are they just going to flip-flop? Like, it's, because China's like got kind of like runaway laissez-faire capitalism intertwined with like, extraordinarily fascistic faux communism. Are we going to do that? And then they're going to do democracy? My question is, and this is just, for friends of yours, are rednecks from southern states who aren't already dead from COVID going to have to storm the Forbidden City? Because they're going to need to bring snacks. Because there's not the nearest Starbucks is like 8 blocks away.
And we need to do something first. We need to forget terms like communism and socialism and national socialism.
I'm sorry, I don't even recognize those as words. I've already forgotten them. See how good I am?
This is a massive consolidation of power between the government and big corporations. That's fascism, right?
Well...
Not really.
No, it isn't. I thought, is this going to be on the midterm?
It's a public-private partnership, which has also been called an oligarchy.
Public-private partnership has also been called an oligarchy. Well, I would argue that an oligarchy would pretend to be a public-private partnership when indeed it is actually, especially in countries like Russia. But, obviously anybody who'd have anything to do with Russia as a politician and defend them at every turn, you'd have to talk to them more about that because I don't speak awful.
It is a power play, and all of us on planet Earth are caught in the middle of the tracks, standing in the way.
Do you guys know where you are right now? All of us? All of us. Including the oligarchs? All of us are in the middle of the track. So these are alien oligarchs. I see. And one of them is flying from the sun, and the other one is flying from Alpha Centauri, and they're both fighting over what resource do we have. Obviously, Soylent Green is people, but are we either, is it the lizard people eating human milkshakes fighting against the aliens from Independence Day that want water? I'm so confused. I'll just stand here on the tracks and wave at the pretty light coming at me.
If you learn about this,
if you too,
and see it and verify it and stand up against it, you are you will understand what will happen to you by the end of this broadcast.
So you have to stick around to find out that you're going to be killed if you bring up whatever Glenn is bringing up and selling ads during, but you won't be allowed. You're going to be tracked if you watch this. Especially if you sign up now, you get 20% off being tracked by the Blaze.
So that is
I love that he started this fucking thing with enter your, sign up with your credit card and give us your email. Otherwise, someone might track you. Right?
What? It's an oligarchy. The question
Bannon's been held in contempt? Of course. Very good.
Is how? How is it being built?
How?
Well, 3 weeks ago, I showed you one of the levers that is being used as their...
Jesus Christ, I'm so glad I missed that. He showed us his lever.
For change. It's a big lever. It's the environment.
Well, no. Come on. If you had a big lever, you wouldn't dress like that.
That's what going green now is all about. Then we showed you one of the biggest pressure points to force this change.
So you pushed your pressure point, you pushed your big lever against the pressure point, and it turned green?
banks, and finance. Companies are now being assigned a score on how compliant they are in this new transition of wealth. It's called an ESG, and the environment in that score is the E. It's a great...
Okay, the ESG score. Let me guess, this is an optional thing that like the World Economic Forum has put forward. Let's see, ESG score. Now, I'm sorry, guys, I apologize ahead of time. I'm looking this up. Yeah, here it is. The new sustainability Morningstar. Let's see. SPG Global. So I apologize ahead of time. That if I'm tracked immediately and sucked up by the matrix because I looked this up. This is on SBG Global's site. Unlike any other ESG data set available in the market today, S&P Global ESG scores and the CSA research process that underpins them forms the basis of a unique ecosystem that actively drives corporate disclosures and raises the bar on sustainability standards over time. 8,000 companies, 90% of global market capitalization, 340,000 plus research university actors, assesses values, text, checkboxes, and documents, private data points, 130 plus questions that they do across their questionnaire. The 30 plus criteria scores in the Avenue, weighted question scores, 3-dimension scores, and then S&P Global ESG. You can get this from S&P Global. Will give an ESG. If you're investing and you want to invest in companies that are sustainable or better for the environment or doing good work for the world, whatever, you can use their ESG score to invest in that. Now, you don't have to. You can invest in companies and not give a rat fuck. But they're the only ones that are actually doing this. Obviously, this is clearly welcome to the noon. Sustainability, where investing success meets personal impact. Download. Why do you invest? The goals are probably financial emergency savings, but account balance doesn't describe you. You can't invest in the future. So you want to invest in gender equity and fair labor practice, environmental responsibility, community improvement, human rights stuff. They'll give you a score, and you can pick now. You can still, if you want to, invest in companies that have a shit ESG score or don't even bother to have one. But why would you want to do that? Now, this is obviously a government thing. ESG and sustainability. This is Theorem. This is download their ESG guide. They have their own. Theorem has their own ESG that they do. Corporate sustainability and ESG reporting is business critical today. Management teams are looking beyond financial growth and embracing growing importance of environmental, social, and governance ESG metrics that impact corporate value and reputation over the long term. Additionally, they need to disclose ESG performance is accelerating, enabling financial institutions, insurers to evaluate companies' ESG performance, pushing investment towards sustainability-focused companies. The right technology, strategy, and execution will be vital to meeting the ESG demands on your business. Rising to the challenge, processing critical data step, high-resolution, accurate data. And you can tell by the fucking, look at this. This is so far away, and then this is so much closer. That's why do they choose Theorem? Because they have all the best images, and they're not afraid to show you. I mean, I would go to Theorem for, especially if I was I had a company and we specialize in, say, clip art, because I would, maybe there's a quid pro quo in the business and thing of that. Okay, here we go. Shit.
System that is starting now to pop up in all investor portfolios all over the world, and you can use them or not use them. Our country. I want to show you an image we obtained from somebody who has assets with a major investment firm.
Dear God.
Now, note that he neither...
That's all we get? That's as much as we get?
Somebody who has assets with a major investment firm.
Details.
Now, note that he neither requested this...
Yeah, you'll show it or something. That's right. He didn't request this. He doesn't want to give a fuck about the environment. And then they showed it to him, and now he's got to obey. He must obey.
Nor had it ever been there before. It just popped up.
Fuck. Just popped up. And now he's got to obey.
The investment firm wanted to inform him that some of the companies that he's invested in had an ESG score. And if they averaged them all together, the scores of his investment were listed below average. So in other words...
He has most of his money in drugs and human trafficking, but a couple of solar panel companies.
4.7, so under 50% of the people. A score of about 50.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, the numbers really don't matter, Glenn. You showed us a dollar sign earlier and called it a percentage sign. We know you're lost.
50%, meaning 50% of his investment, they didn't really care about the environment. They didn't care about social justice. They didn't care about anything. So this is
anything. They don't care about anything, not even profits.
Bank putting a grade on his 401k. That's his retirement. And he being told that your life savings are now a risk. Now here's my question.
How are they a risk? What the fuck are you talking about? You might be interested to know that, and a lot of our investors want to know that they're investing in good companies. Like, you may not know this, but half of your stuff is in North Korean arms sales. I mean, it's obviously through a ghost company, and you probably, you do know this. Oh, Glenn Beck taught you to buy the, I see. Yes, we used to have to do it on the phone. Hi there. Yeah, I'm from MCI Global Investments. Yeah. We're just checking in, a little check-in call or whatever. You have over $1 million in your account with us, and we're investing it in different kind of things. And we wanted you to know that only 4%, 4.7 to be exact, percent of the things you have invested are going to things that are actually good for the people of the planet or anything. The rest of yes, I'll hold. He didn't cover the bottom of the receiver when he flushed. Anyway. Yes, I was saying that over 50% of the things that you are invested in are actually just a corporate mask for helping members of the Chinese Communist Party buy real estate in the United States. It's largely an LLC, arms sales, and a tech company that is actually a front for opium sales to children in Bangladesh. You seem awfully happy. He hung up. Can we just not call the people on Glenn Beck's contact list now that we're tracking it? All right.
Why are they risky? Is it risky because they're making products that don't work? Are they about to be sued for something they did wrong? Is it just...
Or possibly, are they poisoning the environment that you would like to enjoy in your retirement? Gee, I was hoping to spend my money on a beach, but I'm invested in a company that's destroying the beach.
Old-timey, hey, I'm selling a horse and buggy. Why are they risky?
What?
Oh, hey, I'm selling a horse and buggy. Why are they risky?
They're not. I mean, the question wasn't about whether or not they're financially valuable. The question was, do you know that they may be financially valuable and yet doing immoral things? So a lot of Christians, for example, do care about where their money is going. So let's say they got a lot of oil and gas, but they want to make sure that it's an oil and gas fund that maybe is just American oil and gas and not Saudi oil and gas.
Because of the environment and many other things. They're risky now.
Like what?
Because the government and financial community have decided...
I'm selling a horse and buggy. Why are you selling your horse and buggy? Because I'm going to put all my money in human trafficking. That's what that's what I do now. So what could possibly be wrong?
To collectively turn off the money flow if those companies fail to comply.
No. If they continue to be financially... a gold mine for people are going to invest in them anyways. But the conscious investor, people with deeply held religious or spiritual beliefs or who are environmentally conscious in their life would like to know these kind of details.
This is what I showed you 2 weeks ago.
Your little drawing. High carbon economy, low carbon economy goes up to dividends and interest to savers and lenders. Dividends and interest go back to then capitalism, and then they turn off the spigot. Did you draw this?
I want you to know, I did not make this. This is from the
okay. Gotcha. I see.
UN framework that was copied and brought over to the United States banking by a United States bank. At the top, you have investment firms that pour money into the economy.
Well, no, at the top you have savers and lenders. That's people who have the money, who, or who have like a 401k and the like, and they invest into these things. Okay.
Like BlackRock that control trillions of dollars. The money.
Well, not as much as you might think. And by the way, in defense of BlackRock, I can see why there would be a point of concern. Why Glenn Beck would be concerned about BlackRock. BlackRock, HSBC, among largest buyers of Evergrande debt. Those of you who don't know, Evergrande is the largest real estate holding company, I think on Earth, but certainly in China. It's the biggest one. It has $300 billion worth of debt. It's missed bond payments repeatedly, and it's fucked into a cocked hat. I can understand where Glenn would be worried on behalf of BlackRock. Okay.
Trickles down through the banks and is invested either in companies deemed high carbon or low carbon. That's how it used to work. Now,
that's how it still works.
Show you what we're working now. I mean, in a free market, you used to be free to invest in whatever you thought was good.
You still are. Get a Robinhood account. No one gives a shit.
But you can't be allowed to do that anymore. The game is changing. So as the image shows, the spigot is being turned off to the non-compliers. This is what really pisses me off with what is happening with GameStop.
Well, yeah, it's hard to piss when your spigot's been turned off.
The financial world freaked out when private investors did the exact same thing they do every single day. They propped up a stock and made a killing on it. Short sellers do it all the time, and it's completely accepted.
Yeah, and you didn't mind until there was a Democratic president, apparently.
But they didn't like it when you did it.
I didn't do it. I mean, I have some GameStop stock, but I ended up selling it because it did pretty well. I didn't have that much of it. I wish I did. Anytime your 8-year-old tells you to invest in a stock, listen to them. But then go, well, they don't actually have a stock for macaroni and cheese, but I appreciate it.
Different from what the government is doing all along with big banks and investment firms. Let me go back to that graphic for a second.
Well, yeah, just leave it up there. It still looks silly.
You'll see that they turn the spigot off here on the companies that are not playing ball while funneling trillions of dollars into others, right?
No, I mean, this would be, you'd have to show us the rest of this. And you seem to be blacking out. I don't want to call bullshit too strongly on this, Glenn, but the packet that you're showing this from, you seem to have crossed out certain letters so that you can't read what the title is or garner what the title is, so that people can't recognize that this is a suggestion for investors who do care about the ESG score. And then if it does matter to you, this is how you can do it. You can still invest with us, even though you think of us as big awful. We will, as big awful, we have a lot of money. We can make you a lot of money, and we'll do it in ways that you used to think this is all we did, and this is what we're doing now. It's a marketing pamphlet. But Glenn and his producers have scratched off letters in the title document so that you can't look it up in theory. That's what's happening, Glenn. So why wouldn't you just show us the name of the thing? Now, I'm sorry, I jumped to it. Let's see, show more. Let's see. Have you noticed insane number of companies going woke lately? Is a big reason. Initiative, Glenn Beck, hashtag comply or die. Like that's going to... Yeah, no link in the description to the materials you're referencing? Glenn? No? No, because maybe in a moment he'll tell you that he's tweeting out the article so you can take a look at it.
Meanwhile, they're starting to inform you.
Or not. I guess not is the actual thing.
Of your risky investments. What happens if we were a publicly traded company, which we are not, nor will we ever be? Hopefully.
Yes, no one will be interested. Hopefully. Fuck you, hopefully.
If we were a publicly traded company, which we are not, nor will we ever be, hopefully.
Yes. Sometimes you have to be careful, people. I don't know if you know this, but you can accidentally file an IPO and end up being traded on the stock exchange. Happens to a lot of good companies. I often write in the comments section on Etsy, be careful to not accidentally offer an initial public offering.
What would happen to our score? And could you even have investment in there, or would it be too risky?
You have a media company. Your entire audience is anti-environmental, anti-social justice, anti-government. So yes, it would have a shit ESG score, but everybody who would invest in it would know that you were making money selling to the anti-ESG crowd. As a matter of fact, it would drive up investment. People would see your shit ESG score and go, there's a guy who walks the talk.
See, the only difference that happened between GameStop and private investors is that this is fully institutionalized, and we're not in the game.
Well, yeah, you are. That's why they give you a portfolio if you want to invest that way. If you don't give a shit, they're like, Saudi oil exploration is still a cash cow right now for a little while longer if you're interested.
Apparently, this is where I hit a nerve. Financial institutions do not like me talking about this. They do not like their name of their bank in the news, especially when...
Wait, your news? Sorry, you mean they don't like you lying about them? We'll see.
This is exposed. So, one of the largest banks...
Cowboy Glenn's having a rough time. All right.
Country contacted me in my office a few weeks ago.
The bank called, did they?
Our executive producer took the phone call, 2 phone calls, and...
Did it hurt? Where'd he put the other receiver?
A correction was never asked for. In fact, they did not dispute any of the documents that I exposed or what I was saying was coming based on those documents. They just thought that I should be clear, and they wanted to clarify that a person's ESG score wouldn't have any bearing on you at all.
Wait, a person's ESG score? A person's individuals have an ESG score, not companies. This is about this is the Chinification. Here it comes. Sorry, is he going to clarify that people don't have, these companies have ESG scores? Unless, wait, can I start an IPO and can I be traded on the stock exchange? Wait.
Well, the banks, what they're doing at that bank is just helping you with more information.
Right. Yes. If you give a fuck, you can invest that way. And by the way, this ESG scores aren't about suddenly that they've got a conscience. This is like plus size mannequins at Walmart and Target. They're not doing that because they give a fuck and they're, joining the body positivity movement, or they care about people and their own self-image, or they're fighting some battle against anorexia or some bullshit. They're doing it because the majority of Americans are obese or overweight, and they're selling to that group of people who don't want to see, skinny representations because they feel challenged by it or upset by it. They don't give a shit about you. This is just how they're selling. The ESG thing, it's not like they give a shit about the environment all of a sudden, but they know a lot of investors increasingly do and are, and therefore they're presenting options to try and separate you from your money. Because a lot of people who don't invest because they think all corporations are evil and they wouldn't know how to pick the good ones from the bad ones.
Really? And they said it's not going to affect you at all.
Well, except for your personal ESG score, which of course will float over your head digitally and of course link up to a satellite network that will aim a laser beam at your forehead.
Okay, well, I appreciate that point of view. I remember when I was young and naive and I didn't think things through, but believe me,
now you're old and grizzled and you still don't think things through?
Who told you to call, they know exactly what's happening. It's my job to look at the news and try to decode it for...
Yeah, that's what it is. If it wasn't for Glenn Beck, we wouldn't understand what ESG stands for and why it's evil.
It's little people. What does it mean for the single mother trying to make ends meet? What about the farm?
Well, I'm guessing she's not getting prospectus documents from giant banks. If she's struggling to make ends meet, I'm guessing that her portfolio isn't high on their list.
Or who's hoping and praying for rain this season? What about people like me, a small businessman?
You're not small. A pudgy businessman, but go ahead.
I have to risk my own money, and I need investment money from time to time. What happens? These are issues that the big government, big banks, and corporations don't factor into their ESG equations because they don't care.
Well, because it's not related. And nobody gives a fuck. You won't have a bad ESG rating as a media company if you ever have one at all. You don't do speculative oil drilling. And now, granted, I'm certain that every so often, he's a source of methane beyond just talking out of his ass. So
what happens to those single mothers and worried farmers and small businessmen when their 401ks start losing money?
How are they going to lose money? What does this have to do with them losing? Oh, I see. And being environmentally positive for a company is a way to lose money, and therefore, all right.
The money they invested starts getting diverted to more equitable companies? What happens then? How do you trust the stock market if the investors are the ones grading them?
How do you trust the stock market when didn't you just defend GameStop? GameStop's price isn't worth that at all. There was no dividends in that fucking stock. That was fart air. Everybody blew it up because there was a company short, like an investor, or a group of investors, a hedge fund, was shorting GameStop, and a bunch of gamers got on and used Robinhood to boost it up. They did exactly what you're talking about, and you just started by defending their ability to do that. Except it was based on fuck all. It was just because, it was like a cash version of Gamergate.
Judging companies on what they do, not what they make, not what the demand is, that's no longer a free market. And
why? You can judge against it. You can go, oh shit, this company's got a huge ESG score. I don't think they're going to make any fucking money. Looks to me like they're spending so much money trying to look good on their ESG score that they're not going to be profitable. You don't think there's a bunch of investors in the world who won't look at a low ESG score and the available, like the volume of stock trade, and go, oh shit, this is going to go huge. The fuck
happens to the individual if they work for a company that gets hit with these exclusion policies?
Exclusion policies. CCA banks have committed to working with others to develop clear and foreseeable. It's very blurry on my clear and feasible sector-specific roadmaps to reach well below 2 and strive for a 1.5 degree Celsius for all relevant sectors and across different geographies. Some sectors will end up being or not compatible with a net zero economy. Leading banks can send clear and tangible signals of a strategy to shift capital away from high-emitting sectors through, or not.
Remember, these are not my graphics. I'm taking them directly from their reports.
What report? List the report, fucko.
What if they work in a factory, an assembly line, or a drilling company that is on the left side of this graphic? What happens?
Well, eventually they're going to go out of business anyways, and so it's a matter of shelf life.
To those individuals? Well, it's not going to affect them. Really? No, it's no big deal. In fact, John Kerry has already said what would happen to those people when they shut down the XL oil pipeline. Remember, they all lost their jobs, and how did he respond?
What President Biden wants to do is make sure those folks have better choices, that they have alternatives, that they can be the people who go to work to make the solar panels.
Oh, you're so cute. You just lost your job, Buttercup. Just wait around for a job building solar panels that we haven't created yet. Go to work.
Well, I mean, obviously you could create them a lot faster if Republicans weren't fighting the infrastructure bill, for example.
In a new factory that doesn't even exist yet.
Well, no, we have solar panel factories. I mean, obviously, and installation, maintenance, those are jobs that are coming. And the Keystone XL pipeline, those were jobs that were temporary.
That is what big government banks and corporations think about you. They fail to see the impact on the individual because, to put it bluntly, they don't give a crap. All they see is big dollar signs for their future.
Oh, you mean like the banks that have, or the companies that have low ESG scores?
Themselves. Why worry about you?
Well, why can't you invest in what they have investments in if those investments are going to pay off? Maybe they're driving the economy that way because it's better for the environment, and long term, those are the companies that, what? How they make money if the whole thing's going to collapse? If we're transforming the economy where capitalism doesn't exist, how are these people going to make a giant amount of money off this if we don't have capital at all anymore? What?
This is all.
Yes. So it's all part of a plan for these people to become the richest people in the world before money is eliminated.
Done to force public-private partnerships, the merging of big corporations and the financial world with their government for their gain. There is no government.
Oh, you mean like? Oh, I get it. Like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Raytheon pairing with the defense industry to make stuff for decades, and that have been, obviously a huge deal for those particular stocks over time because of those public-private partnerships. And let's not forget Halliburton.
But it is being carried out through private entities. Let the public sector do it. The Treasury, the SEC, the SCIC will make all of the moves while the feds react in turn. Organizations like unions, which we'll come back to later, will put pressure.
Well, obviously, the unions are all part of this. They're obviously the marching soldiers for the worldwide oligarchs who seek to make themselves the richest people while destroying the 401ks of the the union people, who will then be eaten, I guess.
On businesses from the sides, and you will be squeaked and squeezed.
I will be squeaked and squeezed. Is this before or after they're choked? This is a little pervy, Glenn.
Businesses from the sides, and you will be squeaked and squeezed until you either pop or you comply.
These are my choices. These are my only two choices. Let's see. Squeeze me till I pop or comply. I think we know what I normally choose, but now...
Tonight, I'm going to focus in on
You know what? Just squeeze me till I pop, I think, is really... Not all of me.
In ESG, social justice. Have you noticed how many big companies have gone woke just lately? Nike did an ad with a washed-up football star his only claim to fame was demonizing half the country. Apparently all cops are racist. Why would they do that? Oh, when they did that ad, they actually won an Emmy for that ad. Gillette, not to be outdone, did an ad that featured a father teaching his transgender son to shave.
Well, it's kind of a new experience. I mean, if you're on hormones, facial shaving's a big deal, and you're gonna get a smooth, clean shave every time. It's obviously a market. Again, this is not about companies that care about you. None of these companies, Nike with its sweatshops, didn't all of a sudden become woke. They just recognized they're selling to a woke crowd.
Sporting goods came out against guns. Gucci.
No. They did not, fucko.
Your son to shave. Dick's Sporting Goods came.
Pause. Dick's Sporting Goods, this is the quote from Glenn, came out against guns. We will no longer sell assault-style rifles. also referred to as modern sporting rifles. We have already removed them from all of Dick's stores after the Sandy Hook massacre, but we will now remove them for sale from the 35 Field and Stream stores. We no longer sell firearms to anyone under 21 of age. Oh, so they're anti-gun for anyone under 21. I see. We will no longer sell high-capacity magazines. So that's pretty anti-gun. I mean, what good is a gun unless it's got 30 to 60 rounds? You know what I mean? Who can defend their home without opening fire and spraying the entire neighborhood with gunfire? We never have and never will sell bump stocks that allow semi-automatic weapons to fire more rapidly. Why the fuck would you? Why is that one need to be outlined? We believe it's time to do something about it. Beginning today, yeah, none of that is a problem, and you can still buy a shit ton of guns. As Joe Biden says, get a shotgun.
Out against guns. Gucci began donating to gun control activists.
Not Gucci, but
against guns. Gucci began.
Wait a minute, Gucci? Shit, my holster is a Gucci. I feel so betrayed. Gucci? If Gucci turns against guns, I mean, of course it's an Italian company, but it's just un-American.
To gun control activists. I've told you every day, Verizon takes some of their profits and funnels it to Planned Parenthood.
Right, because they help with prenatal, postnatal care. The vast majority of what they do is helping impoverished women actually become pregnant and carry their baby to term healthfully. Abortion's a very small part of what they do. Sometimes it's done so that women don't lose their ability to have children in the future.
Why are all of these companies doing this when they...
It's because they've suddenly found a soul and a heart. No, that's not it. Because the audience wants it, and they're following the money.
Oh, half of the country hates them for it.
Well, the other half is the one that buys Gucci stuff and goes to Planned Parenthood and Dick's Sporting Goods.
Because we don't do anything. Nope, that's not it. I mean, it used to be go woke, go broke. But now it's a business model.
So go woke, go broke isn't true. Okay?
Why are all these companies doing it? What do they know that you and I don't know?
Well, excluding me, I mean, there's a lot you don't know. There's very little I don't know, but I'm always open to the idea that I don't know something, which is also something that, ironically, you and I have a difference over, because there's a lot you don't know, and yet you're utterly convinced that there's nothing you don't know. There's a lot I don't, there's a lot I know, and there's very little that I don't know, but I'm open to learning about the things that I don't know so that I can add it to the stuff that I know. You know?
That's what we should have been asking. Coca-Cola offers a very...
At the Gucci store or during our pap smears?
Good explanation. They've gone off the woke deep end lately. Mm-hmm. Whether running Love is Love ads in Hungary or having...
Yeah, I would disagree, by the way. That might be love. That might be love. This is just straight up, I don't even know that emotion has to be involved in this. This is just pleasure. There might be, I'm not saying they're not in love. Just saying I have different thoughts than love.
Their employees take training.
Try to be less white. Oh, is that how, this is a trusted source, Blaze Media. Coca-Cola hit with backlash over confronting racism training course.
Courses on the evils of being white. The course wanted to remind everyone, quote, try to be less white.
In the U.S. and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they're inherently superior because they are white. Research shows that this is the program that they hired. Confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. To be less white is to be less oppressive. Let's say, okay, I don't know where they're cutting this from, so
Coke is all in on the woke train.
Well, except where they, obviously paid for death squads in India to fight over water.
Rather than just submitting annual financial reports, they are choosing now to publish business and sustainability reports. Oh, their annual report.
Well, you do realize they use a lot of fucking water to make their products, right?
Now includes sections such as how much they invest and give back to communities. How much are they investing in women entrepreneurs? What their
terrible
track record is on human rights. I'll show you how they define that later. And also,
well, I'm guessing they're pushing back. This would be a marketing document to push back against the fact that they've been linked to water seizures in a lot of impoverished countries.
What Coke's carbon footprint is. I feel like just saying, Coke, why are you doing this? You make the best soda on the planet.
Not even close to true.
Everybody drinks your product. Why do you care about all of this crap? Don't get involved in all of this.
Well, yeah, you see, though, they were linked to... Hold on. I'm looking at oh, God. Mm-hmm. This might be why... Oh, this is the Atlantic and okay. Perhaps best known casualty of Coca-Cola's 124-year expansion is Isidro Gil, a union leader whose face, heart, and groin absorbed a total of 10 bullets. The year was 1996. Gil had been lobbying Colombian Coke bottler Bebidas y Alimentos de Aruba for higher wages and protection from paramilitary hitmen who had already assassinated several of his associates and who had once played soccer in the town square with an elderly man's head. The killers also had been sharing Cokes with the bottling plant's manager. In the span of a single day, they murdered Gil, burned down the union hall, and forced the remaining members to resign or flee. Was Bebidas behind the violence? Had Coke's Atlanta headquarters known of the threat but failed to intervene? Was Coke actually responsible for Isidro Gil's death? Michael Blanding's The Coke Machine, part nonfiction narrative, part history of the Coca-Cola Company, and the many crimes it's been accused of, works hard to provide answers. Along the way, Blanding explains how a little-known medicinal drink grew into one of the world's biggest most recognized brands, a symbol of both the gleaming mechanism of free markets and the controversies they sometimes spark. This is a big, long article on the whole thing. How much truth is behind it? In the case of water depletion, it's hard to untangle allegations from reality. Coke likes to point out that its bottlers use tiny fractions of total regional water supplies. Other factors like variation in rainfall from year to year and heavy watering by local farms make it next to impossible to distinguish correlation from causation. Coke's arguments about the killings in Colombia, however, are not quite as pervasive. Was Coca-Cola Company to blame for the deaths? This is the question which Blanding ultimately grapples. Coke Machine's final chapters chronicle the efforts of the union... and two labor lawyers to sue Coca-Cola and describe the union-backed campaign to stop Killer Coke, a splashy Saul Alinsky-style crusade to publicize the murders that was masterminded by a self-described corporate thug buster, Ray Rogers. At Coke's 2004 shareholder meeting, Rogers was tackled and thrown to the ground by 4 security guards after accusing CEO Doug Daft of lying about the situation in Colombia. Blanding's description is nuanced, with twists and turns as the lawsuit proceeds and facts are unearthed, but his final finding is uncomplicated. Barring some sensational testimony from a demobilized paramilitary commander, it's unlikely we'll ever know what the connections are, if any, of Coke's Colombian bottlers, much less Coke Atlanta, had to the murders, because they covered up. Okay, so, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why Coke might be overdoing it a bit in trying to appear to be a good public citizen. Yeah.
They don't care. And apparently we don't care that they're involved. But the government and financial institutions now do.
Well, no, investors do. And when they're trying to talk investors into it, those folks need it. This is so fucking
Social justice now has been monetized. And investment firms are now compiling lists of companies that conform to the ESG guidelines and those that don't.
And you can choose whether or not to follow them in your investments.
CNBC article, Coca-Cola now shows up on those lists. And as the article reports...
hold on, back up.
The article, Coca-Cola...
are included in ESG ETFs according to industry leaders. Okay, so let's see. Here's why stocks such... Whoops. as Procter and Gamble, CNBC. I guess see if we could find that. This is the article that he's talking about. Here's why stocks such as Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola are included in ESG ETFs, according to industry leaders. I'm going way long tonight. Apologies, guys, but this is kind of just a good time. When you buy into environmentally focused ETF, into an environmentally focused ETF, you might not be expecting to own a stock such as Procter & Gamble. But the inclusion of the Charmin parent, one of the world's biggest paper manufacturers, and exchange trading funds promoting ESG, environmental, social, and governance values, is something of an industrial standard. Issuers tell CNBC's ETF Edge, DWS's group's Luke Oliver, whose firm launched the X-Trackers MSCI USA ESG Leaders Equity ETF. It's a fund. Said the reason is partly tied to performance. We want to give people performance and risk profile that they're used to. To do that, you need to have representation from all these industries, all of these subsectors. They're not going to make money unless you have a lot of these folks in there. So this is their top 10 holdings in their ETF. And their ETF, where is it? ETF Edge. ETF Edge. First U.S. Bitcoin futures ETF launches. Strategies behind an ETF Edge. ETF Edge is an ETF Edge. It is dedicated to fast-growing trend right now. ETFs. There's the ETF newsletter you can subscribe to with this whole things in this article. There you go. So basically, there's you can get a lot of broad stocks in there. Apparently these are the ones that do okay, and that's probably just because he's got the chip that will turn your brain off from COVID. Vaccine
shows up on those lists. And as the article reports, monetized social justice, sustainable investing now tops $30 trillion in assets. Tell me this.
Yes, people who wouldn't otherwise invest, and all the other investors are still investing in the normal shit.
Isn't all about control and money. The S in ESG is about to get much more than just going woke. These companies are getting out ahead of something that is going to forever alter capitalism. It will be gone.
So these people are getting rich on this, and so just in time for capitalism to no longer exist. Kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Alter our financial structure, our financial system, and the way you live. The list of compliant or non-compliant companies is growing.
Compliant or non, best ESG. It does say best right here. It doesn't say compliant ESG companies. Top 50 stocks for environmental, social, and governance value. So if you care about these things and you're reading Investors Business Daily, then you would go by this and you would think it was great, right? NVIDIA's got a AAA rating. They make great video cards, but who knew?
Larger every day, and none of them want to be caught on the outside looking in. Trillions of dollars are at stake here. So how do they determine what your social grade score is? Well, as you can imagine, it's still being worked out. It's a little vague, and definitely by design. To try to understand.
Well, then why wouldn't I just jump right in and invest all my money in them, but using that score? Wouldn't everyone? What are these standards that you're investing on? Well, they're a little vague. We're not quite sure if they're it's not even sure if it's meaningful or whatever. But I must invest in these? Oh, yes, you can only invest in those. Why? Because you're not wearing the proper cowboy kerchief.
This, we have to go back to where it all started, and you'll never guess when everything was ramped into full gear.
It's during Obama.
Okay, you probably can. Obama. Excuse me. We'll tell you about its history before we get to how they're judging. Oh, and I looked up Facebook's ESG score. Is that interesting? Next.
Well, we got it. I can't. How about this? I went long. We'll pause here and I'll pick up on this tomorrow after in the afternoon show, if that's all right with you guys. Because there's so much more to come. I can't wait. Should we look up? Let's see. Let's see. Should we? I mean, I don't want to not have this. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Facebook's is 21 out of 100, with 100 being best. This low score resulted in Facebook not being selected as part of approximately 75% of media and entertainment industry's market capitalization by the S&P's ESG. Why Facebook was dropped from the S&P 500 ESG index? There's Facebook's, this used to be their ESG score. 2015. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but ESG score has been around a while. 2014 is 55. Got all the way up to 71, and then it shit the bed in 2018. That's weird. Its environmental score was a strong 82. The sub-score was only carried a 20% weight in determining its aggregate ESG score, and environmental issues tend to be less material for tech companies. More impactful were its social and governance subscores, which registered at 22 and 6, respectively. So its governance subscores, which is, of course, where it, bends over for China and other places, and then, of course, 22 in terms of its social stuff, which is the amount of right-wing, in 2018, especially the growing number of Russian sites and Chinese sites on the website. Yeah, that would kind of drive the score down. Various privacy concerns, including a lack of transparency as to why Facebook collects and shares certain user information. Which is something I know upsets Glenn, that they should do this more. Glenn Beck obviously wants them to collect and sell way more stuff. Retinal scans, thumbprints, your social security number, all that shit, and sell it. But they won't, so obviously that's upsetting him. According to SAM, a unit of Rebecca SAM, S&P Dow Jones Indices collaborator of the S&P 500 ESG indexes, media and stakeholder MSA analysis found that Facebook had experienced many privacy issues over the past 24 months, including allowing more than 150 companies to access more users' personal data than it had disclosed. These are all things that, by the way, Glenn Beck is very upset about. Misuse of personal information, that's, e.g. Cambridge Analytica, and hacking of almost 50 million accounts. All of these things are stuff that, obviously lowered their ESG score, and Glenn Beck is very upset about this. He believes that they should have a much higher score and that it's being manipulated by the government, because all these things that they're considering negatives, Glenn Beck considers solid positives. Oh, right. Chip, hold on. Let's see. All right, I'll find him. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. We had enough math. Is that what happened? I understand. Hold on. Now let's see. Do I have I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Just give it a second, will you? Here, I'll play some music 1 second. I have to do did that work? No? Okay, hold on. All right. Now, I'll be right back.
Chipster, where's Chip? Where is he? Chipper, where's no Chipper? Where is he? Is he asleep?
Nope. All right. Sorry. He's asleep somewhere. Sorry. Hold on. Come back. I'm sorry. He's asleep. He's asleep somewhere. I think he's in the closet. But I'll have to go find him. I did run all over the house looking for him, trying to hurry. But he's sorry. We'll have to wait till tomorrow. You have to come back for the morning show. What a tease that is. He's definitely he comes and hangs out during the morning. I don't know. Maybe the one thing is that he might have snuck in. Nope, he didn't sneak in there. And he's not in my room, so I'll find him. All right. I'll find him for you guys. But that means you have to come back tomorrow for the morning show. That's right. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we have a morning show where we just kind of chill and chat. And and I'm actually looking forward to picking up on tomorrow afternoon show in this Blaze thing, because this is dumber than I thought it would be. Just like the Trump interview. Like, I knew he would look like shit, but I had no idea how badly, Trump would blow an interview with Bill O'Reilly, of all people. So, yes, we'll see if we can do an airborne raid. If those of you that are on, hold on, I've got to open the right window. For those of you that are on Twitch, let's see if he's around, and I'll send you that way. See if he's up. He is indeed. So we'll send you over there right now. I will see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I have my live morning feed where we just kind of hang out. Whoops. It's doing the same thing it did before when I choose to like raid it and then it gets weird. Did he just stop? Try something went wrong. Try it again later. Rats. I'm going to have to jump over to another website and open up. It's going to be crazy. Open up Twitch. Open up my own thing. I don't want to. I can't do it in there. All right. Yeah, it's not letting me raid for some reason. It's very strange. Yeah, it just says something wrong. Oh, you did it already? Thanks, CSL. Thanks. You caught me off guard. All right. Awesome. Appreciate it. And I will, yes, and appreciate it. And have fun over there, you guys. And I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Relax. Enjoy your evening. Bless you. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And remember, there's no way Trump is going to run for president in 2024 because he's a wreck. He's getting dumber by the day, and he will be in no shape to do it. He is making hay while the sun shines, because within a year, he won't even be able to be doing rallies like he's doing. Count on it and sleep well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Bye. Chip just decided he wanted to say hi real quick. So, okay. All right. I'm sorry. You can go poop now.